Perfect. Okay, recording started.
Okay, this is public notice for the City of Boulder Beverage Licensing Authority hearing, Wednesday, June 18th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Agenda item 1.
I gotcha. Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, no
Thank you so
worries.
much. I will now share the instructions for virtual hearing and rules of decorum and read that. All right. Nope, you're good. The city has engaged with community members to co-create a vision for productive, meaningful, and inclusive civic conversations. This vision supports physical and emotional safety for community members, staff, and council, as well as democracy for people of all ages, identities, lived experiences, and political perspectives. For more information about this vision and the community engagement process, please visit our website. The city will enforce the rules of decorum found in the Boulder Revised Code. Participants are required to sign up to speak using the name they are commonly known by, and individuals must display their whole name before being allowed to speak online. Currently, only audio testimony is permitted online. No attendee shall disrupt, disturb, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of any meeting in a manner that obstructs the business of the meeting. This also includes failing to obey any lawful order of the presiding officer to leave the meeting or refrain from addressing the board. Only one person at a time is allowed to speak unless an accommodation like an interpreter is required. All remarks and testimony shall be limited to matters related to city business. No participant shall make threats or use any form of intimidation against any other person. Obscenity, other epithets based on race, gender, or religion, and other speech and behavior that disrupts or otherwise impedes the meeting will not be tolerated.
Thanks, Caitlin.
All right, no problem. Next, I'll go into roll call if you'll just speak your presence aloud. Member Ginger Barnes.
Here, present.
Thank you. Member Michael Carr.
Present.
Member Lansing Creek.
Present.
Member Brendan Haggerty.
Present.
And Chair Roberts.
Present.
Thank you so much. Next, we have approval of Beverage Licensing Authority minutes from May 18th, 2025.
Has everyone had a chance to review them? And are there any edits?
I reviewed them and there's just one edit that I saw. It's a small thing. It said the retreat will be held in June and I think it's gonna be in July, our retreat. So that's the only thing I saw.
Thank you so much for catching that. I will make that change.
Sure.
With that change being made, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I second.
Right. So moved. How's that?
Member Barnes seconds.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr will abstain since I was absent last month.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Thank you so much. I will move on to hearing agenda issues from licensing clerk. We just have one for you all. Embassy Suites was scheduled for a renewal hearing, but they were unable to pick up their poster for posting, so they didn't post. So we're gonna ask that you make a motion to continue that.
I'll make a motion to continue. Embassy, you said it was Embassy?
Embassy Suites, yeah.
Embassy
Agenda item.
7.
7.
Yes.
I'll make a
Carl.
motion to continue agenda item 7.
Thank you.
Member Carr will second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much. I will move on to agenda item 2, which is matters from Boulder Police Department, and Officer Beck is here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have a ton to report. We've been super busy as a department, but as for the alcohol stuff, things have seemed to have slowed down a little bit with the students gone.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Officer Reck? All right. Thanks.
Thank you. I will move on to general public comments for future beverage licensing authority. This is a time to make public comment on anything that is not on the agenda or not in public hearing on the agenda. So this includes if anyone is here to make comment about something that is being heard for boundary setting, because those aren't public comments. So we would need to hear those during general public comments. If you're here to make a public comment, please go ahead and raise your hand. Perfect. I see one hand raised, so give me just a second. Should we go? Give me just 1 second. Mr. Saban, I see that your hand was raised first. I'm just pulling up is the 3-minute timer okay with you, Chair?
Yes, that sounds great. Thanks, Caitlin.
Sure. All right. And Mr. Saban, you should be able to unmute yourself now. And if you'll just share your name and I will get the timer started for you.
Thank you. Can you folks hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry, first of all, I apologize. I thought this would have been an interactive visual audio and not just an audio, so I apologize. I was having a difficulty and sent an email or two. But my name is Adam Stapen, Stapen. I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in the great state of Colorado. My registration number is 27506. I represent Rocky Mountain Paddleboard LLC, doing business as Lakeside for a potential license at 5275 Reservoir Road, which is a boundary application setting for you folks designated as matter 11A1. And I believe we have other individuals here as well. I can't see who's attending or who's not attending. I believe Eva Gerritsen with Liquor Pros is also going to be speaking to this. But we're going to be requesting that the Boulder Beverage Licensing Authority expand the designated area from its proposed area to include further distance to the east. I believe you're going to hear more position on this from Ms. Gerritsen, but it's my understanding there's only 18 residences within the proposed designated area. And if we move the designated area to the same direction to the east, you will capture more city Boulder residents. I believe it will add another 120 residents to the city of Boulder versus the 18 residents that are within the proposed area itself. And essentially what we're looking at doing is expanding out the designated area to allow for greater input of residents, business owners, and business managers that actually reside within the city of Boulder, in which the licensing authority has jurisdiction to issue. If you gauge this, and Ms. Gerritsen should hopefully be here and give you more information on this, but the way the boundary is currently set up is it extends further west than it does east, and there's a lot of residents within unincorporated Boulder County living therein, along with a lot of vacant grass space, if you would, without having residents, business owners, or business managers. So we're looking for your approval to expand out the proposed designated area to include more residents within the city of Boulder, for the reason that the license will be satisfying the destination needs of many residents within your community that do not live within the area, but that reside within Boulder and outside of Boulder that will be using the reservoir. I think my time is almost up. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. We will definitely take that into consideration.
Thank you. All right, and then I see that Liquor Bros also has their hand up, so I will, let's see, ask them to unmute, and then let me share my timer again. Okay, if you'll just go ahead and state your name and then I'll start the timer.
For the record, my name is Eva Garrettson, one of the owners of Liquor Licensing Professionals Doing Business as Liquor Pros. And I'm here today once again speaking on behalf of Rocky Mountain Paddleboard, the boundary area for that one. The last time this was handled, the east cutoff was Diagonal Highway. However, when we looked and did measurements, and we came in later in the game, but looking at all of the maps that Boulder has provided, we did some looking into this particular map and boundary area. If the west boundary area extended out 1.61 miles, whereas the east boundary line just to Diagonal Highway was only about 110. However, it did come down at an angle which cuts off a significant amount of residential folks that are very close in proximity to Boulder Reservoir. As it is right now, there is almost 200 Boulder County, unincorporated Boulder County residents in there, and only right now, as the maps is being presented to us, 15. I do apologize, I provided the wrong information to Mr. Stapin, but there are only 15 houses that are actually Boulder City, within the Boulder city limits. If that, for instance, say 66 3rd Street extends all the way down to J Road and across, you are actually getting in that Cloud Court and that Wellington Road area, which does extend this out and adds another 195 Boulder City residents. And these are homeowners. These are not just apartments. These are actual homeowners. So I feel that those folks, in order to be fair, because these are people that pay city taxes as well, I feel that the boundary should be extended all the way down through 63rd and across through J. You can keep the other boundary areas as is, but I do feel because of that area to the east that was neglected last time should be included because they are city, Boulder City folks as well. And really and truly, if we're going to do a fair and unbiased, you would want to make sure that you counted a lot of those folks that actually live and own a house within the city Boulder limits. And as it is right now, the maximum you have right now is only 15. And I thank you for your time on that.
Caitlin, is that an agenda item that's in our boundary settings today, right?
Yes, that's correct. That will be, you will get to discuss that at the end of the meeting under 11, agenda item 11.
Perfect. We'll take it up then. Thank you.
Sure thing. All right. I will do last call for public comment. If anyone else would like to make public comment, go ahead and raise your hand. I'm not seeing any, so I will go ahead and move on. I will move on to agenda item 4, which is continued show cause hearing concerning an alleged violation and whether the hotel restaurant type liquor license El Taco Imperial de Tlaxcala LLC, DBA El Taco Imperial de Tlaxcala, 2850 Iris Avenue, Suite H, Boulder, Colorado 80301 should be suspended or revoked. If you are here to speak on this matter, go ahead and raise your hand. And I do know that we have an interpreter for this matter as well. So I'm going to go ahead and promote our interpreter, and I will swear her in, and then I will continue. Continuaremos. Hi, Tanya.
Hi. I'm not sure how you want to proceed here, but yep.
No problem. So let me get my little swearing in up here. Okay, so Tanya, I'm gonna go ahead and swear you in first, and then you can begin the interpretation.
Uh-huh.
If you will just go ahead and give your name and spell your name for the record.
Okay. Yes, hi. Hello, my name is Tanya, Tanya.
Thank you, and your last name.
And my last name is Balado, Balado.
Thank you. And do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will make an accurate, complete, and impartial interpretation from the English language into Spanish and vice versa of all communications during this proceeding using your best skill, judgment, and ability?
I do, yes.
Thank you. And are you a certified interpreter?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Okay, interpretation can begin now.
Ok, muy bien. Vamos a empezar con la interpretación.
And I will go ahead and, let's see, hand it over to the board.
Y ahora vamos a pasar la voz al consejo.
There is not a stipulation in this case.
No hay una estipulación en este caso.
Is it possible to request video?
¿Es posible pedir video?
That was kind of a legal question.
Yes, we can
Okay.
request that.
Could we have?
There. I did.
You too, Tanya.
Yo bien, ok.
And I'm sorry, Chair, would you like me to swear in our licensee first?
¿Quieres que ponga el juramento en la licencia también, primero?
Please.
Okay.
Sí, por favor.
Margarita, are you the only one appearing for this matter?
Margarita es la única que estás apareciendo para este tema.
Sí.
And do you have an
Yes.
attorney?
¿Tienes un abogado?
Ayer me habló una persona.
Yes. Yesterday, a person called me.
Okay, but you are not represented by an attorney.
Ok, pero no te está representando un abogado.
No.
Okay.
No.
Perfect. Will you say your name and spell your name for the record?
Puedes decir tu nombre y deletrear tu nombre también.
Sí, Margarita Castrejón. Margarita Castrejon.
Yes, Margarita Castrejón, Margarita, Castrejón, Castrejon.
Thank you, and provide an address, please.
¿Y nos puedes dar una dirección, por favor?
Sí, es 2850 Iris Avenida.
Yes,
Suite H.
2850 Iris Avenue. ¿Después qué?
Suite H.
En the Suite H.
Perfect. And if you'll please raise your right hand.
Puedes levantar, por favor, tu mano derecha.
Sí.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority is true?
¿Juras que tu testamento que vas a dar en frente de las licencias de bebidas es correcta?
Sí, juro.
Yes.
Perfect. The board can proceed. Thank you.
Thank
El
you.
consejo puede proceder.
Okay, so Tanya, I will be reading in these this hearing, and it's a bit lengthy, so I'll try to be on a good cadence with you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing before the Beveraging Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder.
Esta es una audiencia pública ante la Autoridad de Bebidas y Licencias de la ciudad de Boulder
to determine whether or not the licensee of El Taco Imperial de Troca LLC, doing
Para de-
business, oh,
Yeah, thank you. Para determinar si la licencia de El Taco El Imperial LLC
doing business as El Taco Imperial de Tlaca with a hotel restaurant type liquor license
puede hacer negocio con una licencia de tipo de hotel y restaurante.
shall be suspended or revoked on the basis of the violations alleged
Se suspenderá o se quitará basado en la presunta infracción
in the order to show cause served upon the licensee
en orden a enseñar la causa encima de en cuanto a la licencia,
and requiring the licensee present here today.
requiriendo la presencia de la persona que tiene la licencia aquí mismo hoy.
Because this is a disciplinary proceeding,
Ya que este es un procedimiento disciplinario,
the authority shall not ask for or allow comment from members of the general public on the guilt of the licensee
la autoridad no va a pedir ni a autorizar comentarios públicos
or the appropriate discipline to be imposed.
ni sobre qué disciplina se debe de imponer en cuanto a esto.
The purpose of this hearing is to receive testimony presented by the city
El propósito de esta audiencia es recibir un testimonio de la ciudad
and by the licensee in order to enable this authority
y también el testimonio de la licenciada para poder permitir esta autoridad
to make findings and to determine by a preponderance of evidence
para hacer encontramientos y buscar evidencias
whether or not the licensee has violated the various laws as alleged.
para determinar si la persona que tiene la licencia ha hecho las presuntas violaciones o no.
If, in the course of this hearing, testimony or other evidence establishes guilt,
Si en el curso de esta audiencia el testimonio o alguien más encuentra una culpabilidad
of the licensee of a violation of some other law, rule, or regulation to those stated in the notice,
encuentra culpabilidad de la quien lleva la licencia de una violación o infracción, ya sea de alguna otra ley,
the licensee shall be afforded a reasonable continuance upon any offer that evidence in defense
le dará a la que lleva la licencia le dará una continuación para poder llevar una defensa razonable.
explanation and mitigation is not then available to the licensee,
Explicación y mitigación no está entonces disponible para la persona que lleva la licencia,
but can be obtained within the period of continuance not to exceed 10 days.
pero se puede obtener en el periodo de continuación que no debe de exceder el periodo de 10 días.
A record is being made of these proceedings.
Un récord se está llevando a cabo tomando un récord de estos procedimientos.
All testimony shall be given under oath.
Todos los testimonios se van a dar bajo jurar de decir verdad.
The rules of evidence and requirement of proof and procedure.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The rules of evidence and requirement of proof and procedure.
Las reglas de evidencia y requerimiento de procedimiento
Shall confirm to the extent practical to those in civil non-jury cases. Shall confirm to the extent practical to those in civil non-jury cases.
Debe de confirmar hacia lo que se extiende práctico en casos cívicos y de jurado.
But when necessary to ascertain facts affecting the substantial rights.
Pero cuando necesario de asesorar los hechos que afectan los derechos sustentables, sostenidos,
Of the public or of the licensee.
del público o de la persona que lleva la licencia.
The authority may receive and consider evidence not admissible.
La autoridad puede recibir evidencia no admisible
Under such rules, if such evidence possesses probative value.
bajo ciertas reglas si esta evidencia prueba de tener cierto valor.
Commonly accepted by reasonable and prudent persons in the conduct of their affairs.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. Commonly accepted by reasonable and prudent persons in the conduct of their affairs. I can break it down if you need.
Yes, please.
Commonly accepted by reasonable and prudent persons.
Aceptable comúnmente por personas imprudentes razonables.
In conduct of their affairs.
En conducta de sus asuntos.
The rules of privilege required by law.
Las reglas de privilegio requeridas por ley.
Shall be respected in this proceeding.
Deben de ser respetadas en estos procedimientos.
And the chair may exclude incompetent and unduly repetitious evidence.
Unruly.
Do you want me to repeat? And the
Yeah.
let's break it down. And the chair may exclude.
Y el consejo puede excluir.
Incompetent and unduly.
Y el consejo puede excluir incompetente y inaccesible.
Repetitious evidence.
Evidencia repetitiva.
The chair shall rule upon all questions of evidence.
El consejo puede hacer una determinación en cuanto a toda la evidencia.
And procedure.
Y procedimiento.
Subject to being overruled on motion.
Sujeto a que el tema haya sido superado por el juez.
Sustained by a majority vote of those members of the authority who are present.
Sostenido por un voto de mayoría por las personas que estén haciendo ese voto en el momento.
We're almost done. Should a licensee wish to request a fine in lieu of active suspension days?
Okay, can you break it down, please?
Yes. Should a licensee wish to request
Ya, si la persona que lleva la licencia quiere peticionar
A fine in lieu of active suspension days. A fine instead of suspension days.
Ok. Una multa en lugar de días, si la persona que lleva la licencia desea obtener una multa en lugar de de tener días suspendidos,
The licensee should notify the authority of this after a penalty is determined.
la persona que lleva la licencia debe notificar a la autoridad antes de que se haya hecho una determinación.
If any, but before suspending posting is discussed.
Antes de que se discuta algún tipo de suspensión.
And the licensee should be prepared to supply an estimated per day suspension dollar amount. Do you want me to break
Yeah.
that down? And the licensee should be prepared
Ajá. Y la persona que lleva la licencia debe prepararse para
to supply an estimated per day suspension dollar amount
dar un costo de dólar estimado por día
for the authorities' deliberation.
para el tiempo en que las autoridades tomen en hacer una deliberación.
Great, thank you. Are there any members of the board who have a conflict of interest or have had any ex parte communication regarding this item?
¿Hay algún miembro del consejo que tiene algún conflicto de interés?
Member Roberts, no.
¿Miembro Roberts tiene algún conflicto?
Member Carr, no.
Member Barnes, no.
No, no.
Member Haggerty, no.
Member Crane, you're muted.
Miembro, estás silenciado.
Member Crane, no. Unmuted.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay, and in this case, there has been no stipulation.
No ha habido ninguna objeción, ninguna estipulación.
Okay.
Protesta.
I see you are on here, Miss Keller. Would you like to present?
Yes, please.
Te veo aquí, señora Keller. Pues, ¿quieres presentar? Sí, por favor.
Yes, the city would like to call Officer Leah Reck.
Si la ciudad quiere llamar al oficial Leah Reck.
Officer Reck, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Really quick,
Oficial Reck, ¿puedes decir tu nombre y deletrearlo, por favor?
do I need to be sworn in or?
¿Necesito hacer mi juramento o?
Thank you, Officer Reck.
Thank you.
Yes, you'll say your name and spell your name for the record.
I'm Officer Leah Reck, Leahrech.
Soy la oficial Leah Reck, Leahrech.
And if you'll raise your right hand.
Si pueden todos subir su mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give
Da su juramento de que el juramento que vas a decir ahora
to the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Que son verdaderos estos veredictos hacia el Consejo de Bebidas y Licores.
I do.
Sí.
Thank you.
Thank you. Officer Reck, where do you work?
Oficial Reck, ¿dónde trabajas?
I work for the City of Boulder Police Department.
Yo trabajo para el Departamento de Policías de la ciudad de Boulder.
And how long have you worked at the Boulder Police Department?
¿Y qué tanto tiempo has trabajado para el Departamento de Policías de Boulder?
For over 24 years.
Por más de 24 años.
What are your duties at the Boulder Police Department?
¿Cuáles son tus obligaciones para el Departamento de Policías de Boulder?
I'm currently assigned as the Alcohol Enforcement Officer.
Soy el oficial que en cuanto a me dedico a el enforzamiento del alcohol.
And as part of your duties, do you conduct enforcement of Colorado and Boulder liquor laws and regulations at licensed liquor establishments?
Tú, en cuanto a tu enforzamiento de la ley, te refieres a la parte de bebidas alcohólicas, de licencia de bebidas alcohólicas.
Yes, I do.
Sí, sí lo hago.
And are you familiar with El Taco Imperial de Tlaxcala?
¿Estás familiarizada con el taco imperial de Tlaxcala?
Yes, I am.
Generally, how are you familiar with them?
Generalmente, ¿cómo estás familiarizada con ese?
From conducting a compliance check at their establishment.
Por hacer un chequeo de complicidad en su establecimiento.
Officer Rec, were you on duty on April 4th, 2025?
¿Estuviste trabajando en abril de 2025?
Yes, I was.
Sí.
What were you doing that day?
¿Qué estabas haciendo ese día?
Officer Kaufman and I were conducting compliance checks at liquor licensed establishments throughout the city.
El oficial y yo estábamos haciendo chequeos de cumplimiento de la ley en toda la ciudad.
Can you explain to the BLA how an underage compliance check is conducted?
¿Puedes explicar cómo se hace un chequeo de personas menores de edad de cumplimiento de la ley se hace?
We utilize two operatives who are under the age of 21 to check that the establishment is following the liquor rules.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yep, we utilize two underage, so under 21 years of age, operatives to check the compliance and make sure the licensed establishments are following the rules.
Sí, lo que hacemos es que usamos dos operativos que son menores de edad, menores de 21 años, para asegurarnos que el establecimiento está cumpliendo con la ley.
Is this a standard procedure?
¿Esto es un procedimiento estándar?
Yes, it is.
Sí, sí lo es.
What is the purpose of an underage compliance check?
¿Cuál es el propósito de un chequeo de cumplimiento de la ley de menores de edad?
To ensure that the liquor licensed establishments are adhering to the liquor laws and codes and rules.
Para asegurarnos que el establecimiento que tiene licencia de alcohol está cumpliendo con las reglas y las leyes. Cumplimiento de la ley.
On April 4th, 2025, did you conduct an underage compliance check on El Taco Imperial de Tlaxcala?
El día abril 4 del 2025 hiciste un chequeo de cumplimiento de la ley en el taco de Tlaxcala.
Yes.
Sí.
Why did you choose this location for a compliance check?
¿Y por qué elegiste esta ubicación para un chequeo de cumplimiento de la ley?
So we do compliance checks on each of the liquor licenses in the city.
Hacemos un chequeo de cumplimiento de la ley en cada uno de los lugares, establecimientos que llevan licencia en la ciudad.
And they were up on the list to be checked.
Y ellos estaban simplemente en la lista para en el chequeo.
Can you describe the April 4th, 2025 compliance check for the members of the BLA?
¿Puedes, por favor, describir el chequeo de cumplimiento de la ley del día de abril 4, 2025?
Yes, we utilized, I utilized 2 underage operatives.
Y nosotros, cuando digo nosotros, hablo de mí, utilizamos 2 operativos menores de edad.
One male, one female, both 19 years of age.
Un hombre, una mujer, ambos de 19 años de edad.
And on their person was their driver's license vertical, indicating that they are under 21 years of age.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yep. So both of the operatives, a male and a female,
ambos operativos, un hombre y una mujer,
had their vertical driver's license indicating they were under 21 years of age.
tenían ambos, el hombre y la mujer, los operativos tenían su licencia de conducir vertical, indicando que eran menores de edad con 19 años de edad.
They went into the liquor licensed establishment.
Entraron al establecimiento que tiene licencia de alcohol.
They approached the bar.
Ellos se acercaron a la ubicación del bar.
Sat down and asked, and were handed food menus.
Se sentaron y se les dieron menús para comer de la comida.
They asked the server if they could look at drink menus.
Ellos pidieron al mesero si le podía otorgar un menú de bebidas.
After looking at they were handed the drink menus.
Le dieron el menú de bebidas.
After looking at the drink menu, the female chose a frozen margarita.
Después de ver el menú de bebidas, la mujer pidió una margarita helada.
The male ordered a mojito.
El hombre pidió un mojito.
Both of the operatives were served the beverages that they ordered.
Ambos los dos operativos se les sirvieron las bebidas que pidieron.
And they never showed their ID or were asked for it.
Y ellos, los operativos, nunca mostraron su identificación o tampoco se les pidió su identificación.
Then they called me on the phone or sent me a text to let me know that they had been served.
Y después me hablaron por teléfono para notificarme, avisarme de que les habían servido.
Mia, do you want me to continue?
¿Quieres que continúe?
That's okay. I think that's good. Thank you.
Está bien, creo que eso está bien, gracias.
So, Officer Rec, for the record, both underage operatives were served alcohol.
Y oficial, para el récord, ambos operativos se les sirvió alcohol, ¿correcto?
That is correct.
Eso es correcto.
And neither one was asked for their ID.
Y a ninguno de ellos se les pidió su identificación.
That is correct.
Eso es correcto.
If they had been asked for their IDs, would either ID have shown that they were 21 years of age or older?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. If the operatives had been asked for their IDs, would the ID have shown that they were 21 years of age or older?
Si a los operativos se les hubiera pedido su licencia, su identificación, esta identificación hubiera demostrado que tenían 21 años o más.
No, they both had vertical IDs, valid Colorado vertical IDs indicating they were under 21.
No, ambos tenían identificaciones válidas, verticales de identificaciones de Colorado y las ambas decían que ellos tenían menores de 21 años.
Officer Rec, did El Taco Imperial de La Scala pass the underage compliance check on April 4th, 2025?
Oficial Rec, el Taco Imperial de Tlaxcala, ellos pasaron el chequeo de implementación, cumplimiento de la ley en abril 4, 2025.
They did not.
No.
And why not?
¿Y por qué no?
As our underage operatives were served alcoholic beverages.
Porque nuestros operativos menores de edad se les sirvieron bebidas alcohólicas.
Which is a violation of our Muni Code and the Liquor Code.
What was the first code? Sorry.
It was a violation of the Boulder Municipal Code.
Fue una violación del Código Municipal de Boulder.
As well as the Liquor Code.
Asimismo del Código de Bebidas Alcohólicas.
What happened after El Taco Imperial failed the underage compliance check?
¿Qué pasó cuando el Taco Imperial no pasó el chequeo de implementación, de cumplimiento de la ley?
Officer Kaufman and I entered into the establishment.
El oficial y yo entramos al establecimiento.
After getting the information from the operatives on who the individual was that served them alcohol.
Después de que los operativos nos dieron la información en cuanto a quién fue el individuo que les sirvió la bebida alcohólica.
Miss Castrojón was identified as the server.
La señora Castrejón fue identificada como la mesera que los sirvió.
So I approached her and explained what happened.
Así que me acerqué a ella y le expliqué lo que había sucedido.
I asked her for her identification.
Y le pedí su identificación.
And handed that to Officer Kaufman to complete the ticket.
Se lo pedí a la oficial Kaufman para que le diera una multa.
Well, I spoke with her a little more about the violation.
Mientras le hablé un poquito más sobre la infracción.
This is when she apologized profusely.
Aquí es cuando ella se disculpó de muchas veces.
And said that she doesn't typically work the bar area.
Y dijo que ella típicamente no trabaja en el área del bar.
And she said that she is the owner of the establishment.
Y ella dijo que ella es el dueño del establecimiento.
And Officer Rack, is the individual you spoke to the same individual who's appearing in the virtual room today?
Yes.
Y el individuo que usted vio ese día es el mismo individuo que está en la sala virtual el día de hoy? Sí.
Thank you, Officer Rack. I have nothing further.
Gracias, oficial Rec. No tengo nada más.
Thanks, Ms. Keller.
Gracias, señora Keller.
And I do have a brief closing if the board allows it, depending on how we're doing on time.
Y sí tengo algo que decir para finalizar si tenemos tiempo.
Yes, Roberto.
Hi, everyone. The licensee may ask questions of the witness.
Yep.
Sí, la persona que lleva la licencia puede hacer preguntas del testigo.
Thank you. And that comes now.
Y eso es ahora.
Do you have any questions for our witness?
¿Tienes alguna pregunta para nuestro testigo?
Sí.
Yes.
You may proceed.
Puedes hacerlo ahora.
Sí, mire, cuando pasó eso del licor, solamente, obvio, 2 personas pararon a preguntar por un trago, pero solamente a la muchacha fue a la que yo le serví el trago, ¿verdad? Sí fue mi error no pedir el ID, como se lo comentó a la
Permíteme un
oficina.
segundo. Un segundo.
Hold on one second, Roberto.
Please do the
What-
interpretation first.
Yeah. When this happened, just 2 people asked for a drink. I only served this to the women.
So that is not a question. She'll have an opportunity to provide any information that she wishes to.
Esa no es una pregunta. Vas a tener el momento para dar toda la información que tú desees.
Ok, está bien.
But right now, you may ask any questions of the witness.
Pero ahorita es el momento para hacerle cualquier pregunta que tú desees hacerle a la testigo.
Do you have any questions of this witness?
¿Tienes
No.
alguna pregunta para esta testigo? No.
No.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you. Then at this time, we would ask for Ms. Castellan to provide any testimony.
En este momento podemos pedirle a la señora Castrejón dar un testimonio
And mitigating circumstances.
y circunstancias mitigantes.
Sí, pues el testimonio es ese. Sí, entraron 2 personas menores de 21.
Yes, my testimony is that, yes, 2 minors came in.
Yo prácticamente estoy casi nomás en el área de la caja. Sí me puse yo un poco nerviosa. Yo pensé en pedir los IDs como todo el tiempo nos dijeron en la clase.
I practically only work in the cashier area, and I did get nervous, and I did think about asking for IDs as I was taught in the class.
Mi bartender ese día se sintió mal, se tuvo que ir a la casa. Entonces, a mí me tocaba, o sea, ver los tragos, prácticamente no es algo mío. Yo tuve que ver libreta y marcarle a mi bartender para decirme cómo hacía yo las bebidas.
¿Libreta refiriéndose a las recetas?
Sí, porque ella me tiene las recetas en una libreta. Porque le digo, ella es la bartender, yo prácticamente casi no sé de eso.
I'm only in the cashier area. I got nervous. The bartender got sick that day and had to go home. So I had to even look at the recipes that the bartender left for me, the recipe menu for the drinks, and constantly call the bartender home to tell me how to make them.
Sí, ese día sí fueron 2 personas, pidieron 2 bebidas diferentes. Yo pude hacer una, como me iba diciendo la bartender, se la di a la muchacha. El otro, el que me pidió el muchacho, ese sí yo lo preparé, pero ese no se lo serví. Nada más serví lo que fue de la muchacha.
Two people asked for 2 different drinks. I called to get the recipe. I gave the drink to the women, but I didn't I didn't serve the drink to the man.
Cuando yo serví esa bebida, sí, en mi mente yo que tenía que pedirles el ID, pero pues ya fue como demasiado tarde, ¿verdad? Que yo no le pedí el ID y serví la bebida.
When I was serving the drink, I thought in my mind that I had to ask for an ID, but then it was too late and I had already served a drink.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Ok, muchas gracias. ¿Cualquier otra cosa?
Pues no creo que es todo. Ahorita sí, pues ya cuando no está la bartender que me toca hacer a mí bebidas o alguien más, entonces sí ya nos aseguramos de pedirle su ID.
¿Puedes repetir eso otra vez?
Que ahorita, pues ya, ¿verdad? Quien sea una de mis meseras, sea yo, o sea, ya nos aseguramos de primero pedirles el ID cuando piden alguna bebida con alcohol.
Well, nothing. That's all. Now I tell the waiters. I try to make sure that they are asking for IDs when they're serving drinks.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Oh, I was just going to point out, and she's online, that the prosecution has the ability to cross-examine this witness.
Sí, solo quería estar segura a señalar que el fiscal del distrito puede examinar a la persona, el titular de la licencia, en el futuro.
I have no questions for this witness.
No tengo ninguna preguntas para este testigo.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay, at this time, then, Ms. Keller, would you like to make your closing statement, please?
Ok, en este momento, señora Keller, ¿quiere hacer su última declaración?
Yes, please.
Sí.
Members of the BLA.
Los miembros de la DLA.
The city has proven by a preponderance of evidence today
La ciudad ha determinado por una evidencia significativa hoy
that El Taco Imperial de La Scala failed an underage compliance check on April 4th, 2025.
que el taco imperial de Tlaxcala no pasó el chequeo del cumplimiento de la ley de licencias de bebidas alcohólicas en abril 4 del 2025.
They did so by unlawfully procuring alcohol to 2 underage operatives.
Y lo hicieron y brindándole bebidas alcohólicas a 2 operativos menores de edad.
You heard credible testimony from Officer Leah Reck that the operatives were served alcoholic beverages.
Usted escuchó el testimonio de la oficial Leah Reck que los operativos menores de edad se les sirvió las bebidas alcohólicas.
As Ms. Castrejón admitted, at no point were the operatives asked for their IDs.
Así como la señora Castrejón admitió, en ningún momento se les pidieron las identificaciones a los dos operativos.
It is not unreasonable to expect a liquor licensed establishment to check patrons' IDs before serving them alcoholic beverages.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yes, it is not unreasonable to expect a liquor licensed establishment
No es fuera de razón esperar que un establecimiento que lleva licencia de bebidas alcohólicas
to check patrons' IDs before serving them alcoholic beverages.
que cheque, pida que los estén pidiendo las identificaciones de los clientes del lugar.
This should be a minimum standard.
Este debe de ser un estándar mínimo.
If the operatives had been asked for their IDs, it would have been clear they were underage.
Si a los operativos se les hubiera pedido sus identificaciones, hubiera sido muy claro que ellos eran menores de edad.
We ask the board find today that El Taco Imperial de la Escala
Pedimos al consejo el día de hoy que el Taco Imperial de Tlaxcala
did unlawfully procure alcohol to a minor.
De hecho sí dio bebidas alcohólicas de manera ilegal a un menor.
In light of Officer Reck's testimony.
Y con la ayuda del testimonio del oficial Reck.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you so much, Ms. Keller.
Muchas gracias, señora Keller.
Ms. Castrillon, did you have any closing statements or final remarks?
Señora Castrijón, ¿tienes algún una declaración última o algo que decir?
Pues no, nada más eso que sí fue mi culpa no pedir los ID, como le digo ahorita, pues ya de ahora en adelante, pues es primero el ID y luego servir las bebidas. Sí, estuve yo un poco nerviosa, pero sí, o sea, sí acepto que sí le serví el alcohol a esta persona.
Sí, yes, it was my fault not to ask for IDs. Now I've learned to first ask for IDs and then serve. I was nervous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, muchas gracias.
At this time, we will close for deliberation amongst the board members.
En este momento vamos a cerrar para dar la deliberación de los miembros del consejo.
All right, so I didn't see any specific like mitigating factors. Were there any that were submitted? I don't think there was anything.
I didn't see any either,
Yeah.
nor an alcohol policy. But Tanya, should Tanya be interpreting this as well? Probably, maybe. Roberto?
Okay, can
Yes.
you
Yeah.
repeat that, please?
So I asked I asked the other members of the authority if they had seen any mitigating factors. I hadn't seen any.
Estoy preguntando a los otros miembros del consejo si,
Yes.
si ha visto ningunos otros factores atenuantes antes de dictar la sentencia.
Roberto?
Thank you. You normally wouldn't in a case that is being litigated.
Normalmente no lo harías en un caso que está que está en litigación.
So, okay. I don't know what, does that mean we do?
¿Eso quiere decir que lo hacemos?
No, that is to say that you see them in situations where there's been a stipulation and they have agreed that they violated the law.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
eso quiere decir que los ves en una situación que tiene una estipulación y ves si es una manera que ha violado la ley.
For clarification, I was asking about interpreting during deliberation. Does that address?
Para clarificar, estaba preguntando sobre si debe de haber interpretación del lenguaje durante la deliberación.
I was addressing what Member Carr had brought up. So that the authority, so that the licensee is not prejudiced by that.
By not,
para que el titular de la licencia no sea prejuiciada por eso.
by not providing mitigating material?
Por no dar materiales de factores atenuantes
Ahead of time.
con tiempo anticipado.
Okay.
Ok.
I guess my other concern is I didn't even see a proof of training either, and all that information there, which was submitted to the licensee, but we hadn't gotten anything back.
Lo otro que quería decir es que tampoco había visto ninguna prueba de entrenamiento en cuanto a de parte del titular de la licencia.
Yeah, for me, forgetting or being nervous to check, I just don't feel like that is a valid defense for the owner, especially since the owner is who should model compliance.
Para mí, olvidar o estar nervioso, como dijo el propietario, no se me hace una excusa válida, sobre todo ya que el dueño es quien se debe de encargar.
I agree with you, Member Roberts. And I propose that would make a motion that we would go with table values here.
Go with what, sorry?
Table values.
Cable?
Table.
Table.
Yes.
Yo propongo, como el miembro Roberts, que hagamos un movimiento en este sentido y adherirnos a los valores.
Go ahead, Roberto.
The issue of punishment is not yet ripe.
El tema del castigo is not yet what, sorry?
Ripe, appropriate.
Todavía no es apropiado.
The board must first discuss the evidence and consider a motion to decide whether the licensee has violated the CRS provision.
Got it. Thank you.
El consejo primero debe discutir la evidencia y ver can you repeat the last part?
To determine if the licensee has violated the CRS provision.
Y determinar si el titular de la licencia ha violado la provisión de CRS.
Member Carr, were you?
I was going to say I would make a motion that I believe the licensee has violated the CRS provision of serving alcohol to a minor.
Yo iba a decir que yo sí quiero presentar una moción, proponer una moción que el titular de la licencia ha violado la ley.
I would second that motion based on the evidence that we saw today.
Yo también me adhiero a esa propuesta basado en la evidencia que se dio el día de hoy.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Todos a favor
Barnes,
digan yo,
aye.
yo.
Member Crane, aye.
And Member
Ah.
Haggerty, aye.
Miembro Crane y miembro Haggerty, yo.
So the board has decided there's been a violation. And now we will move on to the sentencing.
El consejo ha decidido que ha habido una infracción y ahora vamos a pasar a la sentencia.
Member Carr would make a motion to go with table value and for 2 counts of sales service to a minor, 10 days served with 20 days in advance.
Can you break it up, please? Thank you.
Sure. Member Carr will make a motion to go with table value of sales service to a minor.
El miembro Carr quiere hacer proponer una moción de hacer 2 cargos, uno por servir alcohol al menor.
With 10 days served and 20 days in advance.
Con 10 días servidos y 20 días de antelación.
I second the motion. Member Barnes.
Yo estoy de acuerdo con esa moción propuesta.
All those in favor, say aye. Member Haggerty, I'm sorry, were you raising your hand?
No, go ahead.
Todos a favor digan yo, miembro Haggerty, ¿tienes algo que decir?
Just as a reminder to the board, we can have deliberations about this anytime.
Como recordatorio, podemos tener cualquier otra deliberación en cualquier momento.
But all those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Todos a favor digan yo.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Crane, no.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Miembro Haggerty, yo. Miembro yo.
Okay, the motion has passed.
Ok, la moción propuesta ha pasado.
Would we usually begin the sentencing the following Monday? Is that doable, Caitlin?
Normalmente hacemos la sentencia la siguiente semana. ¿Eso está bien, Caitlin?
So tomorrow is Juneteenth, which is a city holiday. So I can make the posters tonight and have them prepared for pickup, or what would be most convenient for city licensing.
Y mañana es día feriado. ¿Puedo hacer las mociones hoy para que las recojan? ¿O cuál sería lo que propone el consejo?
Would be to start the following week.
Sería mi propuesta empezar la siguiente semana.
But I'm happy to do whatever the board wishes.
pero estoy feliz de hacer lo que sea que el consejo desea.
I don't see any issue. You requested the following Monday, Caitlin?
No veo ningún tema. ¿Pediste el siguiente lunes, Caitlin?
To begin on, let's see. So it can begin anytime after the 25th.
Y puede empezar cualquier momento después del 25.
I don't have any issues. Does anybody on the board have any issues?
Y no tengo ningún problema. ¿Alguien en el consejo tiene algún problema?
No, the 25th is good.
No, el día 25 está bien.
And I believe you'll need a motion for that.
Pienso que vas a necesitar una moción para eso.
I would make a motion to begin the sentence, the what do
The day
suspension.
served.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to begin the suspension on June 25th.
Hago una propuesta para hacer la petición, solicitud, moción, el junio 25.
And
Member
Member
Haggerty
Call-
seconds the motion.
Ya estoy de acuerdo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, gracias.
Margarita, I will create suspension posters and instructions
Voy a crear pósters de suspensión e instrucciones
and email them to you.
y te los voy a enviar por correo.
They'll be ready for
electrónico.
pickup on June 24th.
Van a estar listos para recogerlos el June 24th.
Sí.
El 24 de junio.
Ok, está bien. Entonces, como voy a tener la licencia suspendida para no vender alcohol, o ahí no le entendí muy bien.
Okay, it's fine. I don't understand. I just need to clarification. Will I just have my license for my liquor license suspended?
Correct.
Sí, correcto.
You may still be open and serve food and continue, just no liquor.
Sí, correcto. Puedes todavía abrir las puertas y dar comida, pero no bebidas alcohólicas.
Ok, ¿y eso será como cierto tiempo nada más?
Will that be just for a certain time?
10 days.
Por 10 días.
Ok.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else from the chair, the board?
Gracias. ¿Hay algo más de los miembros del consejo?
No, thank you.
No, gracias.
Okay, I will move on to agenda item 5. While I'm doing that, I'll just get everyone where they're supposed to be.
Voy a pasar a la agenda número 5, al número de agenda 5. Voy a ponerlos a todos donde deben de estar.
And Tanya and Margarita, thank you for your time.
Tania y Margarita, gracias por su tiempo.
Okay, we're good. Thank you so much for your patience, everybody. Okay, we are moving on to agenda item 5, which is show cause hearing concerning an alleged violation and whether the hotel restaurant type liquor license of La Katrina Mexican Restaurant LLC, DBA La Katrina Mexican Restaurant, 4800 Baseline Road, Suite E 105, Boulder, Colorado 80303 should be suspended or revoked. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand. And I see one hand raised, and we're gonna go ahead and get them into the panelist view. And as they are coming in, I will let the board know that there is a stipulation in this case. And I will hand it over to Ms. Keller.
Thank you, Ms. Kellogg. As you said, there is a stipulation in this matter, so we would move for the board to accept that stipulation at this time.
Thank you. I'd make a motion to accept the stipulation by the city. Is there a second?
I second, Member Barnes.
Great. All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Hold on. I don't see the stipulation agreement in here. Maybe am I missing it?
Let me
Aye.
give you a page number. 1 second.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
500. It's there.
It is page 43 of your packet.
Oh, 43. Oh, okay. I missed that. Thank you.
Member Crane, aye. I heard the motion, I know.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Great. Stipulation accepted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Caitlin, you're
Yeah.
doing your thing.
Chair, if you would like, I can swear in the licensee for any testimony they'll give. I think Ramon is here. If you'll go ahead and turn your camera on and see if you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
And are you able to turn your camera on?
Let me. Okay.
There we go. Perfect. If you'll just go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record.
Okay, my name is Ramon Saldana. Ramon Saldana.
And if you'll give an address for the record.
3905 Ireland Court, Denver, Colorado, 80249.
Thank you. And if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority is true and correct?
Yes, that sir is correct.
Thank you. And is anyone else going to be appearing with you today?
No,
Okay. And are you represented by attorney?
no, I'm not.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Thanks, Caitlin. Ramon, since you're not being represented by an attorney, I'll go ahead and read the procedure into the record.
Okay.
This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the license of La Katrina Mexican LLC, Restaurant LLC, DBA La Katrina Mexican Restaurant, with a hotel restaurant type liquor license shall be suspended or revoked on the basis of the violations alleged in the order to show cause served upon the licensee and requiring the licensee's presence here today. Because this is a disciplinary proceeding, the authority shall not ask for or allow comment from members of the general public on the guilt of the licensee or the appropriate discipline to be imposed. The purpose of this hearing is to receive testimony presented by the city and the licensee in order to enable this authority to make findings and determine by preponderance of the evidence whether or not the licensee has violated the various laws as alleged. If, in the course of this hearing, testimony or other evidence establishes the guilt of the licensee of a violation of some other law, rule, or regulation than those stated in the notice, the licensee shall be afforded a reasonable continuance upon any offer that evidence in defense, explanation, and mitigation is not then available to the licensee, but can be obtained within the period of a continuance not to exceed 10 days. A record is being made of these proceedings. All testimony shall be given under oath. The rules of evidence and requirement of proof and procedures shall confirm the extent practical to those in civil non-jury cases, but when necessary to ascertain facts affecting the substantial rights of the public or of the licensee, the authority may receive and consider evidence not admissible under such rules if evidence possesses probative value, commonly accepted by reasonable and prudent persons in the conduct of their affairs. The rules of privilege required by law shall be respected in the proceedings, and the chair may exclude incompetent and unduly repetitious evidence. The chair shall rule upon all questions of evidence and procedure subject to being overruled on motion sustained by a majority vote of those members of the authority whom are present. Should a licensee wish to request a fine in lieu of active suspension days, they should notify the authority of this after a penalty is determined, if any, but before suspension posting is discussed, and the licensee should be prepared to supply an estimated per day suspension dollar amount to the authority's deliberation. At this time, is there any ex parte or does anyone have a conflict of interest on the board for this item? Member Roberts, no?
Member Barnes, no.
Member Carr, no.
Member Crane, no.
Member Haggerty, no.
Excellent. We have received a stipulation in this case. I'm just okay, so we do not need to, we will not be hearing any evidence or witnesses. Would Ramon like to, or Roberto, I'm sorry, can you help me here? Is it
Of
Ramon?
course.
So,
Yes, he will have the opportunity to provide you any factors in mitigation that he considers relevant for your
perfect.
consideration.
Thank you. Ramon, at this time, would you like to provide any mitigating factors, explanation? The floor is yours.
No, I don't have any explanation.
Okay. Then at this time, we will close for deliberation. Okay. So Caitlin, do you know if this establishment is in good standing with the city of Boulder?
Yes. They are in good standing with occupation tax. We did not check sales tax before this, and I'm so sorry, but I can send them a message to ask if they would be in good standing with sales tax, but besides that, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, any deliberation, discussion amongst the board?
Stipulation, shows that they, did serve alcohol to minors.
Yeah,
I think it's about, how do we want to, well, the punishment, the suspension guidelines.
yeah, there's not a lot to work with here. So
I would make a motion to go with table values.
I don't see any argument against that.
So yeah, member Carr will make a motion to go with for 2 counts of sale and service to a minor, 10 days served with 20 days in advance.
Member Crane, I second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Okay. And Caitlin, would the city be requesting that same date?
Yep, we can make a poster whenever is convenient for the board, but next week because tomorrow's a city holiday, so the 25th would be preferable.
Okay.
Member Carr will make a motion to start the suspension on the 25th of June.
Member Barnes seconds the
Second.
motion.
All right, there you go.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Perfect, thank you. And Mr. Sabana, I'll have a poster for you. I'll send you an email with the information of how to pick it up on the morning of the 24th, and then it will just need to be posted by the 25th. There will be instructions included with the poster.
I'm sorry, do I have to go and pick up the poster, or I'm gonna get it email and print it?
You'll get an email that it's ready to be picked up, but yes, they will be physical posters that will be ready. That will need to be picked up from our office on
Okay.
June 24th.
On June 24th.
Yes.
Okay. And they have to be posted on that day, right? Before we open for business on the 25th.
Yes, so the suspensions are midnight to midnight, so it will be midnight on the 25th to 10 days, which is 9, 10, which is midnight of the 5th. So like the 5th going into the 6th, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And there will be instructions on the posters of when that happens.
Okay.
Okay, if there's nothing else from the board, I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 6.
I have a question. So just to make sure, just to be clarified on the 10 and they serve and 20 in advance. So that means I'm not going to be able to serve alcohol for the 10 days. And what's the 20 in advance means?
That means that if you're to have another violation within a year, then you would have to serve 20 days.
20. Okay. So there's okay. Understand. Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully that won't happen.
Hopefully not. Yeah. Hopefully not.
Perfect. Any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay. Great. I'll move on. We're just going to get everyone situated really quick. If you'll just hang on. Thank you so much. I don't know if I mentioned this on the record, but we are training Sarah, who's going to be a new clerk for us. So thanks for your patience on us getting through all the steps here. Okay, we are moving on to agenda item 6, which is continued public hearing and consideration of a renewal application filed on August 1st, 2025 from Vitamin Cottage Natural Food Markets, Inc., DBA Natural Grocers, 2685 Pearl Street, Boulder, Colorado, 80302. Kemper Easley, co-president, Zephyr Easley, co-president, Heather Easley, vice president and secretary, Michael Pellicore, manager of record, with a business mailing address for a renewal of a fermented malt beverage and wine retail retail off-premise type liquor license. If you are here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand and we will let you in to speak. I see we have one hand raised and they are coming in as panelists. And while they are getting situated, I will let the board know that this licensee is in good standing with sales tax and occupation tax. And it looks like Carmen is here. Carmen, are you represented by an attorney?
No,
Okay. And are you the only one who will be appearing?
correct.
Okay, I'll go ahead and swear you in and then I'll hand it over to the board. If you'll just go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record.
Yes. My name is Carmen Silva. It's spelled Carmen. Last name is Silva.
Thank you. And if you'll give an address for the record.
Yes, 12612 West Alameda Parkway. That's in Lakewood, Colorado. Zip code is 80228.
Thank you. And if you'll just state your affiliation with the licensee.
Yes, I am the licensing specialist at Natural Grocers.
Thank you. And if you'll raise your right hand.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes, I do. I swear.
And do you swear that you or your employees have posted the premise for at least 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll hand it over to the board.
Great, thank you. Hi, Carmen.
Hi.
Since you're not being represented by an attorney, I'll go ahead and read the procedure into the record. This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the application of applicant Vitamin Cottage Natural Foods Market, DBA Natural Grocers, for a renewal of a type fermented malt beverage and wine retail off-premise type liquor license shall be granted or denied. This hearing conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado and the rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder. The purpose of this hearing is to receive information, data, and testimony by interested parties in order to enable this authority to make findings and to reach the conclusions required to be made by the state law as to whether or not the license shall be renewed. Interested parties are the applicant, residents of the neighborhood affected by the license, as previously determined by the authority, and the owners and managers of a business located within the neighborhood. This hearing shall be limited to questions of whether there is good cause not to renew the license, as set form in this notice of hearing dated June 18th, 2025. Okay, please proceed. Carmen, what's going on? Why are you here?
Wait, Leah, shouldn't we do a make sure there's no conflict of interest?
Oh, thank you so much. Board, is there any conflict of interest or has anybody had any ex parte communication? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
Member Carr, no.
Member Cry, no.
Member Haggerty, no.
Great. Carmen, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am here due to the renewal, which was renewed, I believe it was like 10 days after the renewal period. and I had just I uploaded the renewal, but I uploaded it in last year's renewal, which didn't, pop up. But I did reach out to I believe it was Sarah, and I sent an email, and because I had not received an invoice yet, and that's when I found out that we needed to upload it into this year's renewal.
I see.
Which,
Anything?
the renewal was after like 10 days. So I think it was like the 21st, I believe. And I can get the dates. Let me see. But yes, the due date was the 21st.
What about it looked like there might have been some missing paperwork associated with this. Has that been taken care of as well?
To my knowledge, everything was on the application. So the certificate of good standing, all the training, documentation. I believe we might have missed one training certificate, but that was emailed over.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No.
Oh, sorry, from
Sorry.
the board.
Sorry.
So it sounds like in this situation it was just uploaded to the wrong year, and that's why it was missed. And then what was your plan for next year to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Correct. I do have written on my notes to make sure that it's applied to the correct year, and just do it a little bit more earlier. So instead of the 45, kind of start working on that 60 days prior to the license expiring.
Fantastic, thank you.
Sarah?
Hi, yeah. Hi, Carmen. Hi, board. I am the one that was processing the renewal, so I just want to make one clarification. It was uploaded to the original license, which doesn't trigger our renewal. However, I do want to be clear, it was uploaded to the original license past the due date as well. So it wasn't simply that we didn't see it and that we were being overly harsh. It was that it was late when it was incorrectly uploaded to begin with.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions or discussion from the board?
There, I don't know. I've been looking through these certificates of training, and I'm not seeing one for Infinity. Maybe I'm missing it. But I saw that was required for this renewal. So I was curious if that had been submitted after the packet was, or if I'm possibly just missing it. Because there's a lot here.
I also didn't see that one. Did you see Jack's?
I
Hi,
didn't
I
see
can
that.
speak to, I am still waiting for 2 different training certificates, but since it's a renewal, I simply wanted to get that before the board and then figured Carmen and I can get that worked out after the fact.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? Seems like a user error, and sounds like Carmen has a plan to begin her renewal efforts 60 days instead of 45 days. So I would make a motion to accept this renewal.
Member Carr would second the motion.
Great. All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Great. Renewal accepted.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just wanted to
sorry,
say
we did
thank
an
you
echo.
as well.
Thanks, Carmen. Good luck. Okay.
Sorry about that. We are sitting right next to each other since I'm training and we are getting some crossover, but we fixed it. Okay, thank you so much. Agenda item 7 is continue. It was continued at the beginning of the meeting. So we're going to move on to agenda item 8, which is public hearing and consideration of a new application filed on April 21st, 2025 from LTF Club Operations Company, Inc., DBA Lifetime, 1821 30th Street, Boulder, Colorado, 80301, 1821 Steve Kurzman, President, Director, and Chief Financial Officer, Eric Lisbeth, Secretary and Director, with Jared Cogswell as proposed registered manager, with a business mailing address of 2902 Corporate Place, Chilhanson, Minnesota, 55317, for an entertainment facility type liquor license. And if you are here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand. And we will let you in. All right, and I see that we have some licensees, and I see that Mr. Bimeford is here. And Mr. Bimeford, you are attorney for this matter.
Yes, oh, there I go. I was clicking. Yes, I'm James, for the record, James Bimeford, Beimford, attorney registration 13142, appearing on behalf of the applicant LTF Club Operations, Inc., doing business as Lifetime.
Thank you so much. And who will be appearing today that needs to be sworn in?
Both Carol Johnson from Liquor Pros and I'm looking.
It looks like Jared Cogswell is here.
Jared Cogswell. Is he logged on?
Yes.
He was on. I don't see him.
He's here. I see him.
Okay. Oh, there's Jared. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Mr. Cogswell, I'll start with you. If you'll go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record and give an address.
Okay, it's James Jared Cogswell. I live at 3130 Dover Drive in Boulder, Colorado, 80305.
Thank you. And if you'll just spell your first and last name for me.
James Jared, Jarod, Cogswell, Cogswell.
Thank you. And how are you affiliated with the licensee?
I am the general manager of our Lifetime Boulder location.
Thank you. And if you'll just leave that right hand raised for me, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes.
Perfect. And do you swear or affirm that you or your employees have posted the premise for at least 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Thank you. And Ms. Johnson, if you will do the same, say your name, spell your name, and give an address for the record.
Carol Johnson, Carol Johnsson, 10200 Park Meadows Drive, Littleton, Colorado.
Thank you. And if you'll just tell us how you're affiliated with the licensee.
I'm representing Liquor Pros, who did the petitioning for this application.
Thank you so much. If you'll leave that right hand raised, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much. I'll hand it over to the chair.
Great, thank you. Attorney Bimeford, would you mind if I waive would you waive the reading?
We waive reading of the procedure.
Okay.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great. And members of the board, is there any conflict of interest or has there been any ex parte communication? Member Roberts, no?
For Barnes, no.
And as member Carr, I just wanted to state for the record that before we proceed, I would like to disclose that I recently joined the club. I have met various people in the management staff, including the general manager, but I have no social connections with anyone who works there, and I have no financial stake in the outcome of our decisions. So there is no actual or potential conflict of interest on my behalf.
And you feel you can be fair and impartial?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Member Crane. Somewhat similar to Member Carr. When Lifetime was originally soliciting several years ago, I put my name on the list and received an invitation to explore further, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and did not participate any further. But if you explored the list of people, I'd be in there somewhere. Have no conflict.
Great.
Member Haggerty, no.
Okay. We can proceed.
Okay, we would ask Carol Johnson to testify first from Liquor Pros.
Okay. Good afternoon, Carol. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just, Carol, you've told us your background, who you work for, and you conducted petitions for the new Lifetime on 30th Street.
Yes,
Could you explain the methodology and the results of your petitioning?
certainly. Liquor Pros was asked to do the survey for this license application. We are a neutral petitioning company, do not guarantee the results. We try to start the closest to the location for businesses and residents if there are some available, and radiates outward so we have samplings of the varying neighborhoods in all 4 quadrants if that is available. We had 2 circulators on this job. Businesses were done on Thursday and Friday, May 29th and May 30th, and the residents were done on Saturday, May 31st. We made 124 attempts at businesses and 321 residents for a total of 445 attempts. From that, we obtained 107 signatures. We had 56 signatures from businesses, 100% in support, and we had 51 signatures from residents, 50 in support and 1 in opposition. The one who signed in opposition gave no reason for the opposition. We had 57 who declined to participate, 19 not interested, 19 too busy. 11 businesses was against their company policy to sign. 5 do not sign petitions or surveys, 2 were against alcohol, and 1 gave no reason. There were 57 who were not qualified to sign. 38 of those were businesses that did not have an owner or manager present at the time. 10 were under 21 and 9 were non-resident. So I do believe with only 1 signing in opposition and that 1 not even giving a reason, that this does show that there is a need and desire for this license to be issued. And I would answer any questions you may have.
I have no further questions if the board has inquiry.
So how many people in total just responded? Just how many response?
That's the numbers that I just gave you.
I know, but I heard a lot of this person didn't because they were underage. I just was like,
there were 107 people who signed. There were people that came to the door and they either chose not to sign or were too busy to sign or were underage or something, but there were a total of 107. We approached 445 people, but there were 107 that took the time to sign the petition. That is probably as good as an average as our normal petitions, especially in an area like this. The residents are very few and far between close by, and the farther away you get, the less participation people really be involved. Any other questions?
Thank you. Okay. You may proceed.
Okay. Would ask Mr. Cogswell. Jared, will you tell us your name? You already spelled it for us.
Yeah, Jared Cogswell.
And what's your position with the applicant Lifetimes who applied for an entertainment facility license?
General manager.
And you're the registered on-site manager at Lifetime?
That's correct.
Okay. And do you have prior experience in the sale of alcohol? Were you either working at restaurants or managing athletic facilities with alcohol service?
Yes.
Explain your background for us?
I've been in the fitness industry for 35 years, serving as a general manager for 28 of those years. And in most of those establishments, we did have a liquor license as well. I also grand opened our Beaverton, Oregon location prior to coming to Boulder, and we had a full liquor license there as well.
And will you be actively involved in the operation of Lifetime in Boulder?
Yes.
Okay. And you also have employees and assistant managers have prior experience in alcohol sales?
That's correct. Yes.
Have you ever had a liquor violation?
No.
Has Lifetime, with over 60 locations and multiple licenses, ever had a violation to your knowledge?
Yeah, we actually have 179 locations with no violations.
Okay, I think the number, I think you have 179 liquor licenses, but a lot of your locations have multiple licenses. So with that 200 and some licenses, you've never had a violation.
That's correct.
Okay. And will you train your employees regarding liquor service, and will the training be tips?
Yes. We'll require tips as well as safe serve, alcohol certification, and food handlers as well.
And in addition to tips, you include serve safe training material as part of your food service and alcohol service employment manual?
We do.
Okay. What policies do you have regarding checking IDs?
We check every ID, especially those that look under the age of 40.
And do you have a policy on vertical IDs?
Yes, we don't accept them for alcohol sales.
And what kind of food do you offer?
We have a variety. We've actually even expanded our menu since our grand opening a few weeks ago. We have wraps, sandwiches, burgers, what else? I'm thinking of salads, protein shakes, smoothies, things of that nature.
And will there be food available, that food that you described, available at all times alcohol is served?
Yes.
Okay. And based on Lifetime's multiple locations with liquor licenses, what are you projecting in food sales versus alcohol sales?
Well, during the summer, when we have our pool opened for what we call our bistro, it will be anywhere from 10 to 15%.
Alcohol sales versus food?
Yeah.
Okay.
85, yeah, roughly 85% food, 10 to 15% for alcohol.
And then year round, is the alcohol number less when the pool's not open?
Yes.
Okay. And that's consistent with your other liquor licenses?
Yes.
And so you have a large outdoor area with the swimming pool?
That's correct.
And is the outdoor area, is it well staffed, or you have observation of customers and who's drinking, who's not in the outdoor area?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have servers and bartenders roaming the pool deck during operational hours for food and beverage.
And they're also monitoring alcohol consumption?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe the primary purpose of Lifetime?
We provide everything from fitness, sports, entertainment. We're a full service, what we call an athletic country club.
Is the sale of alcoholic beverages incidental to your primary business?
Yes, absolutely.
Is sale of alcohol only a small portion of your total sales?
Yes.
Please describe the sports you provide to the public, the sports part of the sports facility license.
Well, we've only been open for 3 weeks, but you know, we provide obviously fitness and training for sports, but we will also be hosting sports related competitions. We will be hosting hybrid fitness events and competitions. We also have a partnership with our Leadville race series team, which is also owned by Lifetime. We'll be also administering hiking clubs, running clubs, cycling clubs, even uphill skiing during the winter months. We'll have we'll have even some movie premieres with local athletes for special events. We'll have keynote speakers. Really a lot of different things beyond exercise and fitness.
And then you also occasionally have live music, either indoor or outdoor?
Yes, live music, definitely indoors and outdoors. We'll have a DJ every couple of weeks on the pool deck. And we may even have some sort of concert series like we have done at our other locations.
Okay. And then portion of the premise is also indoors, and that's a defined cafe?
Yes.
Okay. And then do you instruct people to keep their alcoholic beverages within the cafe unless you're having an event?
Yes, we'll have signage where they cannot move beyond the area of the cafe itself. And the same thing with our outdoor facilities.
Okay. And then when you have some of the events like the movies and what have you, you'll activate a portion of the indoor premises for those activities.
Yes, we have 4 different group fitness studios, one of which we would use for special events.
Okay. I have no further questions if the board would like to inquire.
I have a question. You said that you're going to limit where people can walk around with their alcohol. How are you going to monitor that?
We'll have signage posted, but everything is within viewing. We have the way the club is set up. For example, our cafe employees would be able to see if somebody was moving beyond that area within the club. The same, and on the other side of that, we have what we call a member concierge, and everybody's going to be trained properly on what the boundaries are. The same thing goes on the outdoor location. We'll have signage posted, and there's employees roaming all the areas of the premises at all times.
Are people going to be able to take their alcohol from inside to the pool across the street like that?
No, and there's not a street anymore. Everything is continuous. We changed that with the remodel. But no, it would actually, again, it would say no alcohol beyond this point, and they wouldn't be able to take something from the cafe and go to the outdoor area.
Thank you.
In thinking about the outdoor pool area, it's pretty big. Just thinking about people may bring in their own alcohol or something like that. How will the staff there be approaching that, and will they be keeping an eye out for those types of things? How would you deal with the situation?
Oh yeah, we don't allow any outside beverages, even non-alcoholic. I mean, you could bring water, but that's the only thing that we allow. So that is something that we would enforce on the premises, especially because of the liability.
Okay. Thanks.
Just a couple of questions on my part. This is Member Crane. First of all, I mean, it's a remarkable record cited by your attorney about the 200 licenses or facilities that are without any violation nationally. That's remarkable. and a testament to what I assume is an overall corporate discipline about how to do this right. Have I got that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And the people here in Boulder will be trained in the same discipline.
Absolutely.
The only other question is there limited access to your facility, to your premises?
Limited access, yet you have to be a member or a guest and when we say guest, you have to be a guest of a member to utilize the facility.
Essentially,
So that,
it's
yeah,
people
it's,
who are known or their guests.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, you may proceed.
Well, I just have a clarification question. Jared, a member of the public who's not a member can purchase a day pass at Lifetime. Is that correct?
Right now they cannot. We don't allow that right now because we're trying to protect the capacity of the club. But what we do is if somebody would like to try the club, we will invite them in to allow access. So in most of those cases, it's not a fee base. It's for them to try the club.
Okay.
Yeah, most of our facilities do allow a guest pass, but for now, just on the at least in the first 30 days, we're just allowing member and guest access only.
For the first 30 days.
Yes.
Okay.
For my clarification, if you did do that, which would not be unusual, I would guess for clubs, is you'd have name, address, or maybe date of birth, or some identifying factors that would be connected to the day pass.
Yeah, absolutely. We always check identification for anybody who enters our premises.
Okay. Yeah, that's. Thank you.
I have another question. So are members ID'd every time they go to the bar, or are you tracking members who can just go?
No, they have to show identification at the bar every time they order a drink.
That's how you get to 200 facilities without a violation, I suppose. That's one thing.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with our CEO on these types of things.
Excellent. Any other comments, questions?
I have no further questions.
Okay. Then we can go ahead and close for deliberation. I'll just start by saying the alcohol policy was like the best I've ever seen, possibly coming before this board. I thought it was terrific. Some key points were the photos shown along with asking questions throughout. It felt so thorough. I really appreciated them including the safe serve documentation with their policies.
I agree. I thought that was very impressive.
Mhm.
Yeah. I third that. It was a good policy. I had no other questions or concerns.
Is there a motion to approve this license? I'll make a motion to approve Lifetime's liquor license.
Member Carr will second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
For Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Okay. Congrats. Good luck.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I wish I was a member. I was so impressed with the entire thing, top to bottom, but really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And if you'll just
give us a second. We'll get everything situated here. Mr. Weinford, you'll be hearing from Kristen Teague with next steps for
Okay.
approval and all of that. So
Great. Thanks a lot.
sure thing.
Appreciate it.
And we will move on to agenda item 9, which is public hearing and consideration of a new application filed on April 24th, 2025 from Kura Sushi USA Inc. DBA Kura Revolving Sushi Bar, 1855 29th Street, number 1152, Boulder, Colorado 80301. Kura Sushi USA Inc. is publicly traded with Hasami Ubi President, CEO, and Board Chairman, Jeffrey Utz, CFO, COO, and Treasurer, Brent Taco, CIO and Secretary, Shannon Ala, COO, Robert Kluger, CDO, Arlene Patokas, CPO, Shintaro Asako, Board Director, Kim Ellis, Board Director, Karen Stutz, Board Director, Teresa Bowers, Board Director, with a business mailing address of 317 East Carson Street, Suite 333, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15219, for a hotel restaurant type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand if you're not already in there. And it looks like Mr. Profit is here, and you are the attorney for this licensee.
Sorry, yes, Brian Profit, registration number 31101 on behalf of the applicant here this afternoon, Kura Sushi USA Inc. I hope and believe I have a couple of other people joining us, including our general manager, Dennis Zakatenko, and someone from Alcohol Beverage Petitioning Services. Or Alcohol
Perfect.
Petitioning Services.
Yes, I see Miss Lunn is also here. Okay, great. And then Mr. Zakatenko, if you are able to turn on your camera and unmute yourself, I'll start with you, but if you need a second, that's totally fine. There we go, we see you. Okay, and then Mr. Zakatenko, if you will go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record and give an address.
Hello, yes, my name is Dennis Zakatenko. It's DENNISZACATENCO.
Thank you, and an address for the record.
10800 Laurel Avenue.
Thank you, and how are you affiliated with the licensee?
Yes, I'm the store manager in Kura Sushi.
Thank you. And if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes.
And do you swear or affirm that the premise has been posted for 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Thank you so much. And Miss Lynn, if you will go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record and give an address.
Absolutely. My name is Laura Lunn, LauraLunn. I live at 2032 Overland Drive, Johnstown, Colorado 80534.
Thank you so much. And how are you affiliated with licensee?
I am representing Alcohol Petitioning Services. We did the petitioning for Kura Sushi Revolving Bar.
Thank you so much. And if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
I do.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and hand it over to the chair.
Great. Thanks, Caitlin. And Attorney Profit, would you be willing to waive the reading of the procedures?
We'd happily waive, Ms. Roberts.
Perfect. Okay, then the board, is there any conflict of interest, or has there been any ex parte communication? Member Roberts, no?
Member Barnes, no.
Member Carr, no.
Member Haggerty, no.
Member Crane, no.
Excellent. You may proceed.
Chairperson Roberts, members of the authority, thank you. Again, Brian Profit on behalf of the applicant this afternoon, Kura Sushi USA Incorporated, seeking to do business in Boulder as Kura Revolving Sushi Bar. And I'm sorry about my dog in the back who is ready to come in. We are making application this afternoon for a hotel and restaurant liquor license for our location at 1855 29th Street. Unit 1152 in Boulder, Colorado. I'll have two witnesses this afternoon, Mr. Dennis Zakatenko, who will be our general manager at the facility, and Ms. Laura Lunn, who you saw both of them moments ago were sworn in. I think I'll start with Ms. Lunn because I have a feeling she may have to appear at another authority meeting a bit later before much longer this evening. So without any further ado, we'd like to call Ms. Lunn. Ms. Lunn, good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There we are. You stated your name, you spelled your name a few moments ago. You work with Alcohol Petitioning Services, is that correct?
That is correct. I'm a manager with them.
And what kind of work does Alcohol Petitioning Services do?
We do a neighborhood survey for new liquor licenses or liquor licenses in general.
And was APS hired to do a needs and desire survey for purposes of this application?
Yes, we were.
And did you do so?
We did.
Were the results of that petitioning effort pre-filed with the licensing authority?
Yes, they were.
Okay, thank you. Can you describe for the authority the results of that survey process?
Of course. We were hired by Kura Sushi USA Incorporated, doing business as Kura Sushi Revolving Bar, located at 155 29th Street, Unit 1152, Boulder, Colorado 80301. Our survey methodology is all circulators are over 18 years of age or older. Each circulator had a clipboard with the following: a map of the designated area provided by the City of Boulder Liquor Licensing Authority, describing the boundaries of the defined neighborhood to include a list of existing liquor licenses within the designated area, a petition signature page where people contacted could indicate their support or opposition for the license, and a tally sheet to record the results of those who did not sign. People were shown the petition, the neighborhood map, and were verbally told of the new hotel and restaurant liquor license being applied for, site location, applicant name. Each person who signed the petition indicated they were either an owner or manager of a business or resident located within the designated area and were 21 years of age or older. Each signature was freely and voluntarily given without any influence from the circulator. We were able to have three circulators on Tuesday, June 3rd, and 2 circulators on Thursday, June 5th. We were able to get 92 signatures, of which of businesses there were 59 signatures, residents were 33. Signatures in favor were 59 for businesses, 32 for residents, for a total of 91. In favor, signatures in opposition was 0 for businesses, 1 for residents, for a total of 92 signatures total. Statistical awareness or analysis of the signatures is in favor is 98.9%, in opposition is 1.1%. One resident was opposed to the hotel and restaurant liquor license. They did not provide a reason why. We were able to go to 420 businesses and residents. 92 signatures were obtained for 21.9%. 236 people were not home for 56.2%. 53 people were not willing to sign for 12.6%. Business owners or managers not available was 29 for 6.9%, and a business was closed or vacant were 10 and for 2.4%. For the reasons of contacts not being willing to sign, there were 23 people that had no opinion, 10 people who were not interested, and 20 people who were too busy, for a total of 53 people. The summary of ratio of signatures to contact attempts, we were able to go to 288 residents with 33 signatures for 11.5%. We went to 132 businesses with 59 signatures for 44.7%. For an average of 21.9% of attempts to contact people obtained a signature for the petition. Actual people contacts, which means when we were actually able to talk face to face with somebody, whether it was a resident or a business or owner. We had 89 contacts with businesses for 59 signatures for 66.3%. Residents, we had 59 contacts and signatures were 33 for 58.9%, for an average of 63.4% of eligible people contacted provided a signature for the petition. There were no disqualified signatures. There was 1 signature in opposition to the liquor license, as I mentioned earlier. In order to show needs and desires, it should consider whether there are enough same license types in the designated neighborhood. In my opinion, the signature does not fit the definition of the needs and desire. Therefore, we have the final analysis. 32 residents are in favor. Businesses, there are 59 for a total of 91. In favor is 100%, in opposition is 0%.
Okay. I have no further questions of Ms. Lunn. At this time, I'd make her available to the authority.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the authority? Do you think that those numbers, I'm used to hearing like higher percentages. Do you have an explanation for why they're lower?
Sure. It's kind of we are in an area where there is a lot of student housing, and with there not being students in right now, it was a little bit lower. The actual people contact was actually relatively high for what we usually see. We were the people that we were able to contact, with 63.4% being overall, that's actually a pretty good representation.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else from the board? We can proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. I would ask, I don't know if Ms. Lunn has to be at another authority meeting. I know there are a couple starting in about 40 minutes, but may she be excused?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good evening.
You as well.
Next, I'd like to call Mr. Dennis Zakatenko. Mr. Zakatenko, good evening. Can I have you state your name? Mostly so your
Yes, my
picture
name
pops
is
up for me. There we are.
Dennis Sakatenko.
Thank you. And though it is spelled in our Zoom here, can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Zacatenco.
Now, Mr. Zakatenko, you are anticipated to be the general manager for Kura Revolving Sushi Bar. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
How long have you worked for Kura Sushi?
I worked with the company for 8.5 years.
And where are you currently stationed or employed?
I am currently stationed in Cypress, California.
Can you tell us a bit about your history with Kura Sushi?
Yes, I've been working in the company for 8.5 years now. I started off as a dishwasher and I slowly moved my way up into the company. As of now, I am the GM.
And for which location is that?
Cypress, California.
Okay. And you'll be moving to Boulder, Colorado to open this restaurant. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, in your capacity with Kura Sushi, are you familiar with the business operations of one of its restaurants?
Yes, correct.
And are you all also familiar with this proposed location, which I believe is still under construction here in Boulder, Colorado?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, Kura Revolving Sushi Bar is a new concept to the state of Colorado, so I doubt anyone here on the authority has either ever been to one or is particularly familiar. So could you briefly tell us about the concept behind Kura Sushi?
Yes. Kura Sushi is a restaurant with a conveyor belt serving Japanese dishes prepared with fresh, healthy, premium ingredients. We serve nigiri, tempura, rolls, ramen, and desserts.
Okay. Now, let me ask, how many restaurants does Kura Sushi operate nationwide?
Yes, so we have about 80 stores in the US and we have 200 stores over in Japan.
Okay. And what was it about this location and Boulder generally that attracted Kura Sushi?
For that specific reason, um, uh, Kura Sushi is expanding into a CO market. Boulder is an ideal first location at as it is a college town with a varied student body, a strong tourist destination, and has very vibrant dining scene.
Okay. Can you describe, you've touched on it, but the menu for Kura Revolving Sushi Bar, everything that's, not everything, but generally the items that we can find there.
Yes, so some of the stuff you can find for nigiri will have to be salmon, tamago, sockeye, salmon, seared beef. We also have variety of items like rolls and hand rolls. For the rolls, we have golden crunchy, eo hand roll. For the ramen, we have takatsu ramen, udon, and beef juice.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier that this is what makes it kind of fun is that it's a conveyor belt restaurant. Can you kind of
Yes.
describe that for those who maybe haven't been to a conveyor belt sushi bar?
Yes, so pretty much when the seater sits you down for your table, you could start ordering food off the table. Or if you look to your right side when you're dining in, we have a conveyor belt that goes around the whole store. Any plate that you get off that conveyor belt costs $3.85. And that's a different variety of items as in nigiri and rolls as well.
Okay. And you touched on how much the nigiri coming off the conveyor belt is, but how much is it a meal approximately at Kurasushi?
So every sushi plate that we have on the conveyor belt costs us $3.85.
Okay. And when you take something off the conveyor belt, how is it that you're charged for that? Is somebody coming by and just making a check on a piece of paper, or how is it that you know to do the bill at the end of the day?
Yes, so any plate that you get off the conveyor belt, which is a sushi plate, when you're done eating, you put that in the plate slot, and that gets counted after the end of the your meal.
Okay, thank you. And of course, we're here making application for a hotel and restaurant liquor license, which would allow you to sell beer, wine, and spirits in the restaurant. Can you tell us what alcohol offerings does Kurasushi make available to its customers?
Yes, we serve draft beer, we serve sake, and we serve wine.
Now, are these servings in single service containers, or do you serve larger, like bottles of wine or pitchers of beer or things similar to that?
So as of right now, we serve 12 ounce and 16 ounces of glass beers and bottle beers.
Okay. And how about the sake? Does it come in bottles, and are they smaller size bottles meant for maybe one or two people, or are they larger format bottles of sake?
Their smaller bottle usually serves up to 1 to 2 people, 1 to 2 guests.
Okay. And what are your anticipated hours of operation for Kurasushi?
Yes, so Monday to Thursday we'll be opening from 11:30 to 9:30. Friday we will be opening 11:30 to 10 o'clock. Saturday we'll be opening from 11 to 10 o'clock, and then Sunday we'll be opening from 11 to 9 p.m.
Okay, thank you. And when do you anticipate you'll be ready to open to the public?
Yes, we're anticipating opening on July 21st.
Now, next, I'd like to ask you about your policies and procedures. But before I do that, obviously, we need to know how many people do you anticipate that you'll hire for this location?
So we'll be hiring around 45 employees.
Okay, and how many managers will oversee those 45 employees?
4.
Okay. Now, which groups of employees will handle, sell, and serve alcohol in the restaurant?
That will be front of the house, which that will be the servers, head servers, and management.
Okay, and approximately how many people will that involve?
That would be around 16.
Okay. Now, can you generally describe your training process at your store, specifically a new restaurant opening such as this one?
Yes, so we go through protocols. We usually have a module on our own website called Kura College. That's where we do the alcohol beverage certification. Once we pass that, we get a certified certificate to serve alcohol.
Okay, now is that an internal training course that's provided then by Kurasushi?
Yes, correct.
Let me ask you even a bit more broadly. With a new restaurant opening, do you have a training team that will come to Boulder and help you and the remainder of the management staff uh, train these
Yes,
45 people? Okay, how
yes,
many?
correct.
Please go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
Yes, we have our own personal recruitment team that will come to our opening team. They will go ahead and train the front of the house and back of the house. But they will be taking care of front of the house when it comes to the alcohol beverage training.
Now, approximately how large is this training team that will come to Boulder?
It's around 15.
And are they full-time trainers for the company, or are they other managers or service staff from other restaurants across the country who make up this
Yes,
training team?
there are full-time um, team members, and also we have on-site assistant managers that are full-time as well, that are training
Okay.
the employees.
And how long will the training team that comes to Boulder actually be in Boulder on site, helping you to train in the restaurant?
Yes, so from they will be coming in, usually they stay no longer than 3 months.
Okay. And so several weeks or even maybe a month before opening,
Yes, correct.
and then remaining on site after you've opened to make sure
Yes.
everything's running smoothly. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Now, you touched on the alcohol training that was provided a bit earlier. It's an internal training program. Does it include testing for your staff members?
Yes, so we test the employees based on the modules that we get through the career college.
Okay.
But yes, we do test.
Does the training also involve shadowing or role playing before customers come into the restaurant?
Yes, correct. We give it about a week to have the front of the house trained specifically before we start opening and serving the guests.
Now, in addition to your internal training program, is Kurasushi working with any local training programs for your staff?
For us specifically, we have our own recruitment that does the training for our employees.
Let me rephrase this. Has Kurasushi reached out to a Colorado state approved vendor to schedule a training that would be required by Boulder for your staff?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay. And is that alcohol beverage training that will be
Yes,
doing these
correct.
trainings? Okay, thank you. Now, in addition to the training that we've described, do you hold any sort of soft openings or friends and family events to work through any of the bugs from training there as you get ready to open the restaurant?
Yes, correct. We have a soft opening. I was a part of that a couple years ago, and lucky enough now that I'm able to do that again. So yes, we do a soft opening before we actually open to the public.
Okay. Now, last question about training. After your training team has left, you've been open for a couple of months now, will new hires go through the same training program as the people who were there from the beginning, but it'll be administered by your own management staff? Is that how you handle the training?
Yes, correct. After the recruitment leaves and after we're done training for the people who have been there for the opening, if any new upcoming hires, we do the retrain for the alcohol servers.
Okay. It was a terrible question, but you knew what I was going at with, and you answered it well.
No,
Thank
you're
you.
good.
Sorry about that. Next, I want to ask you about some of your service policies themselves, but it might be a bit helpful if you could describe for us, if we're a patron coming into the restaurant, just kind of how it works. Are we seated at a table? Just walk us through what it would be like for a patron to come in and order from you.
Yes. So as soon as you come in, we either ask you if we have a reservation or a walk-in. If you have a reservation, we just ask you for your reservation number. We manually input you to the table. We go ahead and sit you down. The introductions are in the tablet as soon as you start ordering. So also we provide you with a manual introduction as well. As soon as you come in, you can start ordering the food off the menus. We have beverages as well. We have the drink menu on the tablets, and we have the conveyor belt off to the side where you're dining in.
And so I can order both off the menu with my server, as well as pulling certain pieces of sushi or whatever off of the conveyor belt in both manners. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. And we also provide mobile ordering.
Okay. Now, the alcohol sale and service, though, how would I order an alcoholic beverage? What does that physically look like?
Yes. So if you for your table where you're dining in, you have to look up to your either left or right hand side. We have the order panel. That's where you can order your drinks menu off of. Anybody who orders any alcohol beverage before we serve the guest, we go to the table and we verify that they're 21 and older.
Okay, thank you. And then how is the alcohol actually served? Does it come by the conveyor or is it brought to the table?
We manually bring the alcohol to your table before and that's after we verify you for your 21 older.
Okay, thank you. Now, what is your policy for asking for identification? Or what's the age limit that you typically look at from a guest asking them for ID?
Yes, we usually the age limits that we usually see that's from 30 years or younger.
Okay, thank you. And does Kurasushi ever accept vertical IDs as proper identification for purchasing alcohol? And I'll remind you, here in Colorado, we do have vertical IDs for our underage drivers, which are good identification for a couple of weeks after somebody turns 21.
Yes, for Colorado, this would be the state that we're doing first for ID verification through vertical. That will be approved by management.
Okay, so if a regular hourly server is presented with one of these vertical IDs, they need to call a manager over to verify. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure I understood that. And can you confirm that your staff is taught to recognize the signs of intoxication in a guest?
Yes, correct. That is also done through our training process, through our alcohol beverage that explains to us signs of intoxication.
Okay, and how is a server taught to handle a situation where maybe a guest comes in, maybe they've been somewhere else and they've come in and they begin to order alcohol and they appear intoxicated, or maybe they've been enjoying your sushi for an hour or more and they order another drink and your servers feels that there are signs of intoxication. How are they trained to handle that situation?
Yes, so we would ask the guests that we would have to close down their bill politely, and we would politely escort them if they need any transportation, if they seem to go above intoxication, especially the amounts that they're drinking. But we offer them any transportation if they seem to have any intoxication. But for us personally, we have to ask the guests to close the bill and we will have to assist them.
Now, when you say we, is that the management staff or is the server entrusted to do that themselves?
We as the management, we do that ourselves.
You encourage them to call in a manager to help with this situation.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. And what would the consequences be for an employee of Kurasushi who violates your own alcohol service policies and let's say were to serve alcohol to a minor? How are they handled?
Yes, so we usually do disciplinary action. We will talk to the employee itself, but the management will get involved to do any disciplinary actions.
Okay, and is that an immediate termination, or is it maybe more of a progressive discipline where maybe there's retraining and they're allowed to continue to work there if they were to make such a mistake?
Yes, it's more progressive.
Okay, thank you. Now, next, I want to ask you about the layout of the restaurant itself. Do you have a copy of the floor plan, which was submitted as part of the application there with you?
Yes, I am looking at the layout right now.
Okay, and I would encourage all of the board members to do the same. Can you, I'm going to pull mine up as well. Mr. Zakatenko, can you walk us through the restaurant as though we were a patron coming in through the front door, which is actually on the west side of the building?
So as soon as you come in, you'll be where the parking lot is at. You'll be entered by the main entrance. By your left side, that will have all the server stations. That will have we have A, B, and C sections. So you'll be greeted in from B section. Off to your left will be the server station, will be the A station. Usually that will be 1 through 8 tables. The middle sections will have to be the bar sections. All the way to the right side of the store wise, that will be the main hallway. The back of the store will be the restrooms. Also, that will be located with the kitchens, every station, as in ramen, nigiri, desserts, the fish cutter, prep, and as the back of the store, that will be the office.
Now, I do want to ask you a quick question. You had meant the bar area. Are you referring to like an alcohol bar, or is there more of like a sushi bar feel where you would actually sit shoulder to shoulder at a bar where the conveyor goes in front of you?
That will be a sushi bar. You will be
Okay.
sitting side by side by guests. You won't be served alcohol. It would just be the conveyor belt passing by you.
And do each of these rows, you mentioned, I think there were A, B, and maybe C, do they have separate conveyors of sushi, or does the sushi go through the entire restaurant on the same conveyor belt?
Yes, so the sushi goes around the whole conveyor belt. We have shortcuts that go around the whole store. We could close off sections and we could open them depending on how busy it is or how idle it is.
Okay.
But yes, we could customize the shortcuts from the conveyor belt.
Okay, and all of the alcohol service, and when I say service, actually what I mean is where the alcohol is stored and kept before it is served. Where is that located?
That is located on the alcohol storage station by the server station.
Okay. Thank you. And is there any patron access to that area, or is that considered kind of back of the house there?
That's usually in the side of back of the house.
Okay, thank you very much. What is your seating capacity for the restaurant approximately?
78.
Okay. And can you confirm that Kura Sushi here has a full kitchen with adequate personnel, equipment, and food to prepare meals?
Yes, correct.
And will meals always be available during all of your hours of operation?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And lastly, can you confirm that the sale of meals from this location is expected to account for at least 25% of the gross income from your sale of food and alcoholic beverages?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Let me just double check. Mr. Zakatenko, I think that's all the questions I have of you this afternoon. At this time, I would make you available to the authority for any follow-up. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Prophet, for such a thorough direct. Does anybody have any questions?
I did have one question. To clarify, Dennis, you mentioned there was a bar, and it was a sushi bar. Is there also like a standard bar where you'd order drinks, or is it just the sushi bar?
It's we just have the regular tables and the sushi bars.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So, Member Crane, two questions actually. One's a follow-up of something Attorney Prophet asked you a second ago, which was the relationship between the alcohol sales and the food sales. Your application says 95% food, 5% alcohol. Is that more closer to what you expect it to be in this location? If not, kind of where does it fall?
That so if um correctly, that will be 95 food and 5% alcohol.
Okay. And the only other question I have is who is Malka Klein?
That's the assistant manager.
Assistant manager.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr.
Thank
Crane,
you.
if I
You're
may,
you're
just
the manager.
well,
Yeah.
just a quick follow-up, of course. We complete these applications sometimes months in advance of us getting to this point. And with the information we had at hand when completing the application, we were of the belief that Ms. Klein was going to be the general manager, but we learned at a later time she'll be the assistant manager, and it's Mr. Zakatenko who will be the general manager of the facility. And we will report that change once the application is fully processed and we have that opportunity.
No problem. Just my follow-up to that was Mr. Zakatenko is familiar with the responses in the application and agrees with them, I assume, if he's going to be the manager. That sounds like a yes.
I think
Yes, correct.
yeah, sorry.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question regarding the number of restaurants that already exist for Kura. Do you have an idea about previous alcohol violations at any of the other, and you can just speak on the ones in this country. I don't know.
Yes. From my behalf, I would say no.
There hasn't been any.
No, from my knowledge, no.
Chairperson Roberts, let me just double check that. And I do apologize. I had the application up on my computer a bit earlier. I thought I did, but I want to, like I said, I want to double check.
Thank you.
That's correct. We've never had a revocation or suspension at any of our U.S. Locations. I do apologize. I can't speak for the Japanese locations. I don't have that information available to me.
Thank you.
I do see that there was a citation with $1,000 fine paid to the state of Minnesota. That wasn't necessarily a suspension or revocation, but any clarification on what happened or in that situation?
Mr. Carr, can you help me with that? Is that in the individual history records, which actually asks a slightly different question than the overall application?
Yes, that is in the individual history records.
Okay, give me just a second.
Hmm.
Mike, what page are you on there?
It's on each of the individual history records.
Oh, it's on each one.
Yeah, so you go like page 469,
Yeah, okay.
for example, or 463.
I see it on 433, number 5.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, sorry, it did take me a moment.
Well, it was marked no and then answered, so there could be some confusion there.
Well, no, that's actually absolutely correct. So the questions on the individual history record are asking if these individuals have ever received a violation, notice, suspension. And so the answer is no, not for them personally, but they are disclosing that the company did receive a citation for sale to a minor in September 2023, which was handled as a fine as opposed to a suspension or revocation. So there's the question in the liquor application, the DR 8404 for the company that simply asks about a revocation or suspension. And we answered that no. And then there's this question, which is addressed to each of the individuals, but to make sure we give a complete answer, this is how we chose to answer that.
Thank you. Member Carr, any follow-ups to that?
I don't think so.
Just a comment on the alcohol training. Oh, did we lose?
I'm still here.
Yeah, the applicant though, he's gone. It does seem like a very internal, robust training. I am kind of like not, I don't think that the actual paperwork and the policy that's being handed out is very light in comparison. I was just going to ask if maybe there's a manual that goes along with the internal training, because there's really just 3 pages um, of alcohol policy in this huge packet that they gave us. So kind of a comment, kind of a question.
To the best of my knowledge, and I'll answer that as best I can, my understanding that as much of the training is done as an interactive online module, which we tried to find for purposes of your packet, maybe an ability to give a link to it or something along those lines. And at the end of the day, we chose to provide the paperwork that we had. And then I don't know if we've lost Mr. Zakatenko. If we have, I can certainly email and see if we can get him back on, because he does still need to be here. And he could give some greater depth on what that looks like. But we just couldn't figure out a good way to present it to you, at least in a physical form.
I guess my concern then would be, do the employees need this in a physical form to reference? How are they able to reference what they're learning in the online training?
Looks like he's back.
Great.
Dennis, are you there?
Hello, yeah, sorry about that. My computer had died.
Well, we're glad you're back. We've got a question for you from Ms. Roberts. And I'll let her. This has to do with the training. Since much of the training is through a module that's online, Ms. Roberts has some questions about how, after that's complete, your people will be able to reference what they had learned or remind themselves. But Ms. Roberts, I'll let you ask that question again. I don't want to misstate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just noticing that with the huge packet that you gave us, there was really just 3 very simple pages on your alcohol policy for customers. There was a lot more for internal consumption. And so I was just wondering, it sounds like you have a very robust team that's going around, but I was wondering if there was more internal training material we didn't see. Mr. Prophet said that you guys are doing a lot of online training. And so you couldn't present us with anything physical to see. And that led me to wonder, well, what about your employees who need a refresher, or are they studying for this? How, or they forget something, but it was all online. How are they able to reference this information?
Yes, so we have a platform called Cura College, which is the modules that we do the California alcohol beverage. They have access to that 24/7. So if what we could do during their work shifts, we could pull them to the side and have them retrain. Also, we could have the managers in hand train them in hand while they're working the shift.
Okay, cool. So there is a place to reference if they have questions.
Yes, correct. I'm more than welcome to help my employee from whatever they need.
Great.
I had a follow-up question on that. What would be posted within the establishment? Could you just refresh me on what you plan to have posted to remind employees, about some of the requirements and duties?
Yes, that's usually posted in the server station. That's where we post any notifications, as in food menus, allergies, alcohol beverages, anything that the team needs to be aware of. That is posted in the server station.
Okay, got it. And what does that typically consist of for around alcohol policies?
Yes, so that includes anything from when it comes to guest intoxications, signs, the ears to confirm that they're 21 and older, and then anything when it comes to um, the wait for the guest as well.
Got it. And then do you typically have a guidebook for IDs? As you know, it's a college town, right? So there's a lot of out-of-state students.
Guided through our Clear College module.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a moment. What was the response?
That's also provided through our module through Core College. That's everything is through digital.
Okay. So if it's just in a situation where a server has a question about an ID, they would be able to access that in the moment and look at to verify that that is a legitimate ID.
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. And will you be utilizing any sort of scanners or anything of that nature?
As of right now, we don't have any scanners, but in the future we could implement those.
Okay, great. Yeah, and the reason I'm asking some of these questions is because, as you have mentioned, and we are aware, this is a college town, and there's a lot of students here, and things get really busy. So,
yes, correct.
Really paying attention to those things is really important. So, yeah.
Yes, yes, correct.
That's
Fantastic.
also a location that a lot of people will need to drive to. It's not really on the bus line to the university. So that was kind of a flag of concern if we're targeting college students. They'll have to be driving there most likely. Okay. Any other comments, questions from the board? Great. Do you have a closing?
Just briefly, and we don't have any other witnesses this afternoon, Ms. Roberts. Thank you. We do believe that, to summarize these proceedings, that the application's in good order and both procedurally and substantively proper. Proper notice of this hearing has been posted and published. That we do have possession of the premises as are required. The applicant and its employees are also good moral character, as shown by the background investigations, as well as the discussion here today regarding its history as well as policy procedure. And finally, and in some ways, perhaps most importantly, the needs and desires of the neighborhood are also consistent with granting this application, as demonstrated by the neighborhood survey and the testimony of Ms. Lunn. And as a result, we would ask that you would grant this hotel and restaurant liquor license application. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will close for deliberation. Any discussion or motions?
Well, I think it's interesting and different that there's an online portal for a lot of these things, but I don't necessarily think that's a problem. At least it exists, right? So,
I agree. That was kind of a hangup of mine as well after going through the packet, but after listening to the way the company runs and how successful they've been, it definitely puts that at ease for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Having 80 restaurants in one, one violation is not bad.
Agreed. Any other comments or questions from the board? Deliberation? Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve this liquor license. Is there a second?
Member Crane, I second it.
Great. All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Great. You've been approved. Good luck. It's exciting.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem. And Mr. Prophet, I'll be in touch with next steps.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Welcome to Boulder.
All right, I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 10, matters from city attorney. Roberta, did you have anything?
I have nothing. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I will move on to agenda item 11, which is matters from licensing clerk. The first matter is neighborhood boundary settings for application for the July 16th hearing. Okay, so we have quite a few things happening with the boundary settings. So we're just gonna go down the list here. The first one we have is Rocky Mountain Paddleboard LLC DBA Lakeside at Boulder, 5275 Reservoir Road, Boulder, Colorado 80381. This is for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license. Just to remind the board, this you did hear public comment about this matter earlier in the hearing, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see a map.
I have questions around this, not just, but there was a lot of talk about before. I kept hearing them say like the last time they did this. And I was wondering if that's something that the board can be privy to, knowing, has this been before us before? Are we allowed historical context?
Yeah, so this specific application has never been brought in front of the board. The applicant, Rocky Mountain Paddleboard LLC DBA Lakeside at Boulder, that has never been brought in front of the board. There was another application in, I believe it was 2022 for a hotel restaurant license at this location, and it was denied. The boundary setting for context at that time was under COVID rules, which means, and actually I have it right here for you. Nope, not that one. Is it? No, hang on, let me find it. So this is what the boundary looked like at that time, and it was just a mile radius because that's what we were doing during under COVID rules. So everyone got a mile radius. There wasn't like a boundary setting like we're doing right now, where you guys determine the boundaries. So that is what is being referred to from public comment from earlier.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so for boundary setting, could you zoom out a little further?
Mm-hmm.
I see the concern here, right, with just being a lot of open space. Suggestion was to go to 63rd Street and across through J Road. Let's see, where is that? I see 63rd and J. I would almost say go all the way to, I don't know, 75th Street.
Jump the diagonal there.
Yeah.
Gun barrel. Yeah.
Well, it's like a nice area.
So
Yeah,
I just want to bring up that the previous, I mean, well, maybe this doesn't come up now, but if the previous little area denied this, are we just like watering out? Are we just saying like, okay, well then we'll ask more people? I guess I'm just putting that out there as a comment and a thought that I'm thinking about. That does seem small, just a mile radius, especially with all this open space. But do you know,
Yeah, I think it does offer an opportunity to have more opinions, which may, um, play a role in this the approval or denial, or based on the community sentiment at least. But I personally think it's better to always have more voices and people who are, over in that gun barrel area. I think would be utilizing the reservoir. I used to live in Gun Barrel, so I used to go there all the time.
Cool.
I don't know. That's my opinion, which is I think it's better to have more voices than not. I don't know if anyone else disagrees with that.
Agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, Member Haggerty, I agree with that. It does, we're not, you know, voting on anything right now, right? So I think it's just more voices is better, and it's just a better opportunity here for more of the community in regards to this. And, we're not deciding one way or the other. It's just opening it to a larger population of people for feedback.
absolutely. I agree with that. And I also agree with the
So
yeah. Oops. Go ahead, Member Haggerty. I'm sorry. Well, now you're muted. I can't tell if Member Haggerty is talking or not because the
He's
screen.
saying no.
No, okay.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's so small. Yeah. Okay, great.
So do we want to say 75, 75th Street to the east? I don't know. What do we say? J to the south, or and then Broadway to, we're all the way to city limits on the west.
Is city limits 36 or is that old like?
I think it would go to like Wonderland Lake and like a little bit
Okay.
past Broadway.
Oh, West Broadway. It's not J. Could you zoom out a little bit again, Caitlin? Sorry.
Caitlin, would you mind zooming out a little bit, please?
Oh.
Thank you.
You're saying J all the way to like to Broadway, or what, even more west of Broadway?
I was gonna say just city limits.
City limits.
West. Yeah.
J and city limits.
J,
Yeah.
J to the south, city limits to the west, 75th to the east, and then I don't know what are city limits on the north.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let me find out.
Okay. We can see your, yeah, okay.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I think this map will tell us where city limits are. Yes, it will.
Nice.
So let's see. I don't know if I can put an address. Oh gosh. Okay. I think it's just loading. There we go. Is this helpful or do you want me to zoom in more?
Could you zoom in more?
Yes. I can try to put the address in and see what that does. Let's see.
Oh, perfect.
There we go. Okay.
Nice.
And there you go. Is that helpful?
That's awesome.
So this red area looks like would be city limits over here. And then this is the location that we're looking at.
Cool. So then it seems like maybe like Monarch to the north.
Monarch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that seem like a fair for everyone? Good amount.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let me repeat these really quick. So I have 75th to the east, J to the west, I'm sorry, J to the south, city limits to the west, and Monarch to the north.
Yes. Member Carr will make that motion.
And Member Barnes seconds it.
Great. All those in favor say hi. Aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, hi and I.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so next we have, I'm actually going to stop sharing really quick. Next we have BSG Group Inc. DBA Tandoori Grill, 619 South Broadway Street, Boulder, Colorado, 80305 for a permanent modification of a hotel restaurant type liquor license. I'm going to give you some context about this one. So this one and the next one that you see on there, Siren, which is a tavern license. So basically Tandoori Grill is shrinking their premises, and then Siren is applying for a tavern license to go into part of that premises. So I was going to ask you guys if you wanted to see boundary settings for the Tandoori Grill modification. You'll still see the application for the modification next month, but they're just shrinking their premises. They're not adding anything or anything like that. So that's kind of like the context of that. And then Siren will be going into part of their premises.
So it'll be 2 establishments with 2 liquor licenses in one.
Yeah, so it's like a,
But it'll be, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a, like a strip mall situation. And here is Siren. So it's kind of like Siren is here and then Tandoori Grill is right next to it. Oh, sorry. I'm not sharing. There we go. So this is where Siren is gonna be, and then Tandoori Grill is kind of like right next to it. So it's like a strip mall situation. So Tandoori Grill is just making their modifications smaller, like their premises smaller.
That's not where is.
I think it's.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's right.
I think it's a little bit.
Yeah.
Towards
Tandoori Grill is across from Southern Sun.
Sun, yeah.
Yeah, Tandoori Grill's like right
Or,
here.
or Under the Sun. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow. How did you do that?
They're over here.
Close
Yeah,
enough.
they're over there. Okay.
They're over there.
That makes more sense
My
because
bad.
you're making me.
And so what the question is, do we need to do boundary setting for them? You're asking us if we need to do boundary setting next month or now?
You can, yeah, so you can set boundaries and have them do, so the boundary setting would be today. So you can set the boundaries, have them do petitioning, all that stuff to shrink the premises. Or because they're only making the premises smaller and you're doing a boundary setting for Siren, you cannot. You can waive the requirement for the boundary setting for the permanent modification.
I would make a motion to waive the modification for Tandoori because they are downsizing, and then we can move on to the next one.
Member Carr would second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So then next we'll do Jungle 2 LLC DBA Siren, 625 South Broadway, Suite A, Boulder, Colorado 80305 for a new tavern type liquor license. I'll have you set the boundaries first, and then I'm going to ask you another question about this one. So the suggested boundaries are from Southside Walnut Cafe, which was approved last year. And that was Dartmouth to Broadway on the north, city limits on the south, Highway 36 to Moorhead on the east, and city limits on the west.
That seems fair to me.
Yeah, I agree. As long as you know.
Great, is there a motion?
Member Carr will make a motion to accept those boundaries.
Member Barnes seconds it.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Great, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So this is a tavern type liquor license. And in the state statute, there's a provision for you to be able to do an undue concentration study of tavern licenses to decide if there is a needs and desire and the tavern license would be appropriate for this location. I do have here a map of all of the license types that are in the city. This is where the license would be, or I'm sorry, where the premises would be, and then what type of licenses are near it. There's one tavern license currently at this location, or in this area. And I can give you more information about that if you would like. The last time that we did an undue concentration on a tavern license was probably like 5-ish years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And you have approved 2 tavern licenses without undue concentration studies in since then. If any of that is helpful.
What's the other tavern that's over there?
Sorry.
What's
what
the
was the
other
question?
establishment with the tavern license?
This is Southern Sun. And I
Okay.
will tell you that Southern Sun has submitted a surrender to the state. So
Oh.
they haven't submitted a surrender to the city yet, but they have submitted a surrender to the state. So we are working on getting a surrender from them. So it's very unlikely that that will exist much longer.
And just to clarify, that's Southern Sun, not Under the Sun?
Correct. That's Southern Sun. Yes.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
for all the sons? That's like
I don't know. I'm not sure.
news.
Okay.
I feel like you just kind of like dropped a.
Well, I would especially with that, I don't know, I wouldn't say we need to do a undue concentration study,
Yeah.
but how does the rest of the authority feel?
I don't think so. I have a question about this key though, because it says it's brew pub and tavern. Are those interchangeable license? Is that just different?
Oh yeah, good point.
Oh, I
This
think it's just because it's on top of something. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That is a brew pub, not a tavern. I'm so sorry. I just saw the color, not the shape. So the shape is this. So there's not a tavern license in this area at all right there, right now. But you can see like up here is where a lot of them will be. Where are they? Anyways, yeah, they're like over here. If that's helpful.
And I can't see the colors because I'm colorblind, so they all look just like squares and circles.
Okay, and so this means food is not required with that type of license.
Correct.
Do we need a motion or a decision? I think.
Yes, if you can make a motion on whether or not you would like an undue concentration study to be done by city licensing, that'd be great.
Could you just explain a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, so I actually have the statute up here. It's regulation 47-301, so you can it's not super long. It's right here. I can zoom in a little for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then Roberto can also give you some context too if you need more, if you have more questions or anything like that. Basically, it would be a study of the impact of the tavern license on the area, on the city. In the past, we have included law enforcement in the undue concentration study, so ask them what they believe the impact of having another tavern license at this location would, if it would impact their workload or calls for service, that kind of thing. And you can kind of see in the statute here, like what we would be looking at with that concentration.
To clarify though, is there another tavern license over there, or did we just
There is not. I'm sorry.
there's
I
not?
said that there was, and I was wrong
Okay.
because I was looking at the color, not the shape. So this is a brown circle, and that's a brew pub. And
Okay.
you can see when you click on it, it's brew pub. And then these green guys, which I know, member card, I'm so sorry you can't see the color, but these guys are all hotel restaurant. So hotel restaurant, hotel restaurant, hotel restaurant, hotel restaurant, hotel restaurant. And then this red guy is a retail liquor store.
So it would be the first and only tavern license in that location or in that area?
I don't know if it would be the first. I don't know the
Oh, no,
historical.
I mean, the first as of now.
As of
There
now,
are
yes.
no other ones there.
Correct. The closest one is gonna be, um, gosh, the closest one is gonna be up here in the hill. It looks like it would be Fox Theater.
So what would the purpose be of a concentration study?
Well, that's up for you
That
guys to decide.
location?
I guess that's my question. Would we even be, is this even applicable given that there isn't any other tavern license?
You have to decide whether or not you want one, but you don't have to have one. You can waive the study. We won't do it if you don't think that it's necessary.
That's a big decision. I would ask the city if they think it's necessary.
Indeed.
Then that would be us. We would do the study if you want us to.
I don't know. I don't know how to. In my 4 years, this has never come up.
Yes, this one's a little weird.
Where's Chair Califano?
I know.
Well, it says here, just in reading it, it says that the purpose of the regulations to establish factors to consider that we may consider when determining whether certain new licenses would result in undue concentration of the same license type. And there's no other license types that are the same. So in reading that, I would say that we should not do this because there's no concentration.
Yeah.
This would be the first.
I agree.
Swayed.
Makes sense.
Great.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we will waive the undue concentration study.
Member Crane, a second.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty, aye.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, that's the end of the really weird ones. So the next one is Yotsuba Sushi Inc., DBA Yotsuba Sushi, 5290 Arapahoe Avenue, Boulder, Colorado, 80303. This is for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license, and this is located right here. I took the suggested boundaries from Sherpa's Kitchen, which is right next to it right here in that same little strip area. And that is Pearl Parkway on the north, Baseline Road on the south, city limits on the east, Foothills Parkway on the west.
Good by me.
Is that a motion, Member Crane?
Yeah, I move that we adopt those boundaries.
Member Carr will second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Crane, aye.
Member Haggard.
Guys have it.
Perfect, thank you. And last we have Four Noses Brewing Company LLC, DBA Wild Provisions Beer Project, 2209 Central Avenue, Boulder, Colorado, 80301 for a new brew pub type liquor license. I don't have suggested boundaries for you for this one because it's kind of far out here. There wasn't anything really around it. If you can see. And it might be helpful for this one too to put it into the city limits map. So I can do that for you as well. Oops. Here we go, we're looking right here. Whichever map is more useful, let me know.
Do you zoom in so we can see city limits on the east where it is? That's
And I'm just
basically
gonna-
on the edge of the city.
It's
Okay.
right here, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd say city limits on the east at the least.
Yeah. 55th seems a little too close, so maybe.
Yeah.
Do you want to say 119?
Sure, I don't see
Yeah,
it.
I think it's
It was
157
119.
and one is the same.
Oh,
So-
okay.
And
That
then
looks good.
on the south, we want to say what's the Colorado on the south?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, what do you guys think about Valmont to the north? Or
Looks
is it-
good.
That's good.
That looks good.
Yeah, Belmont makes sense.
You think Valmont's far enough north? Because it's just right at Flatirons.
Oh, true. It's like, yeah.
It's like not that far away. I was thinking more like,
Jay?
I just don't know the street names. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Sorry, over here. You want north, right?
Yeah.
We could just
I mean,
do city limits.
We could just, that's what I was gonna say. We could just
Yeah.
do.
Sounds fair to me.
Sorry, which one?
Go ahead, member Carr.
So it's city limits to the north also.
Okay, so I don't know if I got this right. City limits to the north. Let's see. Colorado on the south. I don't think I heard east or west. I'm so sorry.
No worries. East would be city limits.
Yeah.
And west. Did we decide on 157 or 119?
157, which
Yeah,
I think is the same
that
road.
makes-
But yeah.
No, I think 119. Well, I don't know.
Oh no, you're right. It doesn't. It turns into 119. Yeah. But 157.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here? Okay.
Yeah, foothills, exactly.
Got it.
Oh, and member Carl will make that a motion.
Remember, Barnes will second it.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That is all for boundary settings. Thanks for bearing with me on those weird ones. There was no processing of transfers for you for this month. No breweries, wineries, or distilleries. You have your special event liquor permits list And then you also have your liquor renewal scent list. There's also a bulletin in your packet from the state that's just concerning signage and some changes that they made for signage. So that was just an FYI for you. Nothing super exciting there. The last thing I have for us to discuss is if anyone has any agenda items for the BLA retreat on July 9th, that they wanted to discuss adding to the agenda.
I would like to discuss when we have an interpreter present, and maybe
Okay.
we can discuss kind of procedures and things.
Procedures, absolutely.
So unfortunately, and I don't know why I just got really dark. I'm not going to be able to make it to that training session. I'm going to be on military duty. I'm going to have somebody there, and I can certainly talk to him about that. But is there anything in particular that you have questions about? Because there is one thing that I wanted to talk about this evening that I should have talked about during my portion, and that is in the future, when we have an interpreter, we will provide them your script so that you won't have to go as slow and have to repeat. So when an interpreter actually has the script that you're going to be using, they won't even be listening to you. They'll just go off your script.
That was going to be my request.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Member Roberts, did you still want to add an agenda item to the retreat?
Not if, I mean, that was going to be my discussion. So looks
perfect. We are going to have a Mandarin interpreter at the next hearing, so we'll get to
That'll
practice.
come in handy.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Anything else from anyone? Roberta will have some things, or the attorney that will be present will have some things on the agenda. I think Leah will have some stuff to discuss with you. And then city licensing, we will have some suggestions for changes to the rules of procedure. But if there's any specific topics that you guys wanted to discuss, I'm more than happy to put it on the agenda.
When do we have to have those topics to you?
Let's see. The retreat is July 9th, and I am on vacation the week of the 30th. So if possible, by next Thursday, the 26th, if you guys have any suggestions, that would be great. I'm about to send you an email because we're getting catering for dinner. So you'll have an email from me, and you can just respond to that email if you have something that you would like to add.
Perfect.
And it's going to be at 4 p.m. at the what is going to be at the Tate Municipal Building? Is that correct?
It's going to be at our office, which is the Brenton Building,
Brenton
and that's
Building, okay.
1136 Alpine Avenue, and I'll add that to your email that I'll send you as well.
Yep. At 4 p.m. Is that correct?
4 p.m. is correct, yes. Perfect. Well, yep, you guys feel free to think about that, and then if you have anything, just send it to me. I'll send you an email a little bit later. And we can move on to agenda item 12, matters from chair and members of the authority.
I don't have anything in particular. Does anybody on the board?
The only thing I wanted to bring up is I will be absent from next month's meeting as well. Unfortunately, I have a work trip. I'll be out of town. Will not be able to even join remotely.
Oh. But will you be able to be at the retreat?
I will be at the retreat, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Cool. All right. Well, then I will.
Oh, sorry. One other question about the retreat. Caitlin, are you going to send out menus for us to order our dinner as well?
We are we're switching it up a little bit. So we're gonna do catering from Illegal Pete's this time.
Great. Love that.
I'll send you an email asking if you have dietary restrictions or anything like that. So make sure you respond to me with that. But yeah, we're gonna have a nice little spread. We're excited.
I love it. I love it.
Good.
Nice. Keep it local. I like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, then with that, shall we adjourn this meeting? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Carr, aye.
Crane, aye.
Member Haggerty.
Member Haggerty, you're pressing mute a little too quick on your responses.
Sorry, Member Haggerty. I've got some people joining me here, so I'm trying to keep it quiet. But aye.
Perfect. Meeting is adjourned at 6:31 p.m. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
soon in person. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Job, Leah.
Then you can-